How we doing? Wednesday. We are one day away from the Eagles game. I know you guys aren't here for football. But I'm fucking excited. All right? Not a lot in this fucking country right now that's any fun, okay? But tomorrow, the Eagles play the Cowboys. And look, my Eagles are going to beat the Cowboys. That's a given. Okay, it's a given. But even if they didn't, just being happy that fucking there is something other than politics happening. I am so excited. And there is a lot happening. Oh, there is so much happening right now. And you guys all know what it is. It is Epstein Client List Day, guys. I hope you guys are celebrating. I hope everybody is celebrating Epstein Client List Day. I'm so excited. And that is pretty much what this entire show is going to be. That's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something that we're not going to talk about. This show, I want to just make this completely clear to everybody. This show is a show about making fun of MAGA. This show is a show where we mock the dumbassery of MAGA Republicans. What we're not going to do on this show is contribute to the left eating the left. So I'm just going to be 100% honest with everybody, as I always am. If you're coming here hoping that this is going to be another one of these fucking content creators that is just like going in on other left-wing content creators during a time where every single person on the left should have some form of fucking solidarity, you probably want to go find somebody else. This isn't the show for you. Let me fix my camera. I've had a couple content creators ask me if I'm going to talk about that dumb shit. Nope. Fuck that. You know what I want to do? I've been in management since I was 19 years old. I am in my mid-40s now. I have been in management. I have been in leadership for the majority of my life. You know what I want to do right now? I want to grab every left-wing content creator on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, wherever, by the fucking ear, and drag them into a room and say, stop making videos about each other. You fucking fucks. Stop making videos about left-wing content creators. Do you think the right's doing that right now? Jesus fucking Christ. It drives me nuts. It drives me nuts, man. And unfortunately now I get to see the behind the scenes of that shit. You get to see the actual fucking content creators talking and fucking... dude, I am not even going to get into this. But let me just say that right now. If you want to eat the left, if you want to continue to cause conflict within this party during a time when there is no fucking space for friction, for conflict, if that's what you're in here for, this is the wrong show for you. Go find another fucking show. All right. That's all I'm saying about that. Love you guys. Because we're going to talk about the real shit, the actual shit that every fucking person should be talking about. We're going to talk about Donald Trump and the Epstein list and all the craziness that the right continues to make an issue for us in our personal lives, in our professional lives, everything about that. That's what we're going to talk about today. But first, we have to say hi to the people in the chat. The ones that hopefully are still here. Let's have the woke mic number 1, 2, and 3 again. You greedy motherfucker. LMC, what's happening, LMC? Kay, good to see you, Kay. Tammy, what's happening, Tammy? Christina, what's going on? Silent Siren, driving and listening. Thank you for at least listening, Silent. RA, what's happening, RA? Woke Mike, you missed Bob Cox. I think you're the only person that misses Bob Cox, Woke. Not even his own family, all right? 5 Alarm Fire, thank you for everything you do out there, 5 Alarm. Thank you so much. Sean Stevens, what's happening? Yeah, so let's get into it. Let's pop down here. Let's talk about what we're going to talk about. What's happening progressively? What's happening, Roxanne? Today, we've got a couple news articles to go over. Trump blaming some stuff on AI. Going to be fun. Of course, the Trump Epstein stuff. All the Trump Epstein stuff that is going to be happening. A little bit about Trump's hair. Very important to go over. A lot of videos today going to be coverage from the Epstein victims, because this is what is important. This is what people should be talking about. This is what the left should be concentrating on. This is what is important. So we're going to talk about that. We've got, like I said, plenty of videos from the Epstein victims speaking. We've got my queen, Jasmine Crockett, talking a little bit about it as well. I keep bringing up the Jade Helm conspiracy, which is the one where Obama was going to supposedly put military in place to hold on to a third term. And I keep talking about it, and I don't remember how many people actually remember when this was a conspiracy theory on the right. And so I wanted to bring up that. We have a video for that. We've got the big win from Democrats in Florida in a special election. 2 Democrats taking seats, I believe, 1 in the Florida Senate and 1 in the Florida House of Representatives. Real big news. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to, of course, watch my IHIP ladies, because, I just want to be able to watch the IHIP ladies. That's legit the only reason I found an IHIP video, because I just like watching them, to be honest with you guys. And we know this show is only about me enjoying watching the IHIP ladies. So they're talking about the Epstein victims, of course, and a little bit about Trump's panicking. And then the bonus video, if we make it to the end, guys, the bonus video is Alex Jones crashing out over and over and over again. As I don't know if you guys have heard about some of the stuff that's happening with him, but he had like a Jan 6 Trump supporter guy that was like a co-host on one of his shows or something, the War Room or something like that. And the dude quit because apparently Alex Jones said the January 6th guy was too anti-Trump. That's wild. That is pretty wild, guys. All right, so we've got plenty to watch, plenty to get through. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna watch this stuff. We're gonna talk about the Epstein victim stuff, and then hopefully, if we've got the time, we're gonna make it to Alex Jones crashing out. That's the bonus round, guys. The bonus round. All right. Here we go. So we're going to start with... Okay, so first of all, have you guys seen the video of the items being thrown out? We should probably actually pull that up. I'm sure most of you guys have seen it already, but just in case you guys haven't seen it already, let's find a quick... Let's find a quick one. Okay, here's a New York Post one. Let's just watch this right here. Okay, so for anybody that hasn't seen this wild-ass video...
bizarre moment.
This is a wild-ass video. For anybody that has not seen this, this is, I think it's a couple people across the street that are videoing the stuff being thrown out. Now, the Post and other people are claiming this is AI generated now.
Caught on video has set imaginations running wild across social media. The viral clip, which was reportedly originally shared by an Instagram account called Washingtonian Probs, shows someone tossing a number of unidentified objects out of a second-floor White House window. The odd...
Okay, so a little bit wild, a little bit weird. Now, Trump is saying the video showing items thrown from White House is AI after his team indicates it's real. So you've got the New York Post saying that this shit is not real, they're saying it's AI, but there was already a press team confirmation from Trump's team. Saying that this was actually, I believe they said there was a group of cleaners. Now, this is really weird, of course, because you're not supposed to be able to open those windows. I mean, the second story of the White House is the president's private residence. So just think of it this way. If you were able to take a video of said window, it would be insanely easy to just set up somebody there to shoot somebody through that window. Like, it wouldn't make any sense, right? But this is the weird part about it, is that Trump's team said they had already came out and said that these were cleaners or contractors disposing of things out the window, which would be fucking wild in the first place. So there's so many questions to this. And Trump, of course, just replied with, it was just AI. So let's read the article. President Donald Trump said Tuesday that a video circulating online that showed items being closed or tossed out of an upstairs window of the White House was created with artificial intelligence, despite his press team seeming to confirm the veracity of it hours earlier. Donald Trump, who has boasted of being an expert in building design as he takes on remodeling projects at the White House and beyond, told reporters that the video has got to be fake because the windows, he said, are heavy and sealed. The video, which circulated Monday, appears to show a small black bag and a long white item being tossed out of a window on the building's east side. Trump blamed the video on AI, saying the creation of fake videos was one of the downsides of the technology, but then said, if something happens that's really bad, maybe I'll have to just blame AI. I believe we have a video of Trump here. Here we go. Let's just watch this video. Let's watch his response to this. Let's just watch the response.
There's a video that is circulating online now of the White House where a window is open to the residence upstairs and somebody is throwing a big bag out the window. Have you seen this?
No, that's probably AI generated.
So
Actually, you can't open
I like watching the people in the background's reaction.
The windows,
It's so
you know
much
what?
fun to watch
the
the people in the
residence upstairs,
background.
and somebody is throwing a big
JD
bag
Vance
out
always
the
looks
window.
like
Have you seen this?
constipated.
No, that's probably AI.
Upstairs.
Look at JD
And
Vance
somebody is
smile,
throwing a
dude.
big bag
Watch
out
the little
window. Have you
smile.
seen this?
No, that's probably
Look at that!
And somebody
Little
is throwing
smile
a big
there.
bag out the window. Have you seen this?
no, that's
Look at JD Vance!
probably AI generated.
So
Actually, you can't open the windows. You know why? They're all heavily armored and bulletproof.
They're heavily armored. They're supposed to be bulletproof.
It's
That
got to
is
be
true.
because I know every window up there. The last place I'd be doing it is that because there's cameras all over the place, right, including yours. No, but every window, I've never seen a window that's. In fact, my wife was complaining about it the other day. She said, "Love to have a little fresh air."
So why? And also, is that guy behind Donald Trump, does he have a grill? That looks like he's got diamond teeth, bro. These people might not be human beings, actually. I think that dude is a serpent. And I'm not talking about JD Vance. JD Vance is legit just a trailer park human being. I can confirm that because I'm from there. So why then? Why did his team say... Why? Why? And yes, also, progressively, what wife? When was Melania ever at the White House? Like, I can't believe any of this shit. Why would the White House come out and say that those were contractors throwing shit out a window? Like, that either says that these people legit just lie for no fucking reason. Just like as soon as they see something that, like, for no fucking, like, they're compulsory, they just lie right away. Either that is what is fucking happening, and like the Pam Bondi, the 1 minute is missing from the Epstein footage bullshit. Like or the client list is on her desk. They either lie in a compulsory manner, where it's just like as soon as somebody asks them a question they don't know, they're like, I'm supposed to just fucking lie. It's either that, or there's fucking legit people throwing shit out a window.
Come in, but you can't. They're bulletproof. And number one, they're sealed, and number two,
Trump's colostomy
each window weighs
bags.
about 600 pounds. You have to be pretty strong to open them up. No, that has to be. Where was the window? Let me see.
Bro, he hasn't even seen the video.
Maybe from the renovations.
Did you hear that, guy? Maybe from the renovations. Because that's literally what Trump's team said. That's what Trump's team said.
Which is the window?
It looks like this is on the 15th Street side, I think.
Yeah.
So right here.
Yeah, those windows are sealed. Those windows are they're all sealed. You can't open them.
What you were saying regarding the federal.
It's the kind of thing they do. And one of the problems we have with AI, it's both good and bad. If something happens really bad, just blame AI. But also they create things, you know. It works both ways.
Look at
Something
JD
happened-
Vance. Look at JD Vance, bro. Look at JD Vance in the background. Tell me this motherfucker isn't just waiting for Donald Trump to die, dude.
Happens really bad, just blame AI. But also they create things, you know. It works both ways.
Look at him, dude.
If something happens that's really bad, maybe I'll have to just blame AI. But there's truth to it because I see so many phony.
Even JD's like, oh shit, don't say. Look at the people in the background. He said, if something bad happens, just blame AI. Look at all the people in the background like, oh, damn, did he just say that? Bro, we're not... That Curtis Sharvin told us we're not supposed to say that out loud. Peter Thiel's going to be really mad at us, dude.
Things. I saw something as I was growing up from the time I was a baby till...
Why does he say baby that way? Hold on. Why did he say baby that way?
growing up from the time I was a baby.
Why does he say baby like that?
From the time I was a baby till now. I said, who did that? It was AI generated. So it's a little bit scary, to be honest with you. But those windows are all very heavily sealed.
Holy Jesus. I'm just saying. Why then? Why did they say that it was renovations then? Why would they do that? All right. Where are we at here? Where we go? Okay, obviously, hours earlier, the White House seemed to verify that the video was real when it told several news outlets that inquired about the video that it was a contractor who was doing regular maintenance while the president was gone. The White House did not respond to a message later Tuesday about the discrepancy. Haney Farid, is that guy's name? A digital forensics and misinformation expert at the University of California, Berkeley, who reviewed the video, said he does not detect any digital watermarks that are sometimes inserted in the image at the point of AI generation. The shadows in the scene, including the shadow cast by the tossed bag, are all physically consistent. The motion of the waving flags have none of the telltale signs that you often see in AI-generated videos. The overall structure of the White House appears to be consistent, including the flying of the American POW MIA flag. Former First Lady Michelle Obama, in a 2015 appearance on the Ellen DeGeneres show, seemed to complain about not being able to open windows in the White House. Maybe that's who he was talking about. Telling the host that she was looking forward to life after the White House, saying she wanted to take car rides with open windows, and said the windows in our house don't open. So, one way or the other, guys. One way or the other. It's either they straight up fucking lied when they were asked about it, or somebody's fucking throwing shit out windows. We live in the weirdest fucking timeline, man. This shit's broken. Somebody needs to fix this. We need to turn America off and then back on again. That's the only thing that can possibly fix this, guys. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. But anyways, from that same video, real quick, guys. Real quick. This is from the same video. People were pointing out, what the fuck is wrong with his hair? Now, first of all, guys, I know you're saying to yourselves, wait, this guy doesn't get to talk about hair. All right? But as a man who had hair at one point in his early 20s, I can tell you, as a man who's experienced hair loss, what the fuck is that? Why is it gelled like that? Why is he using gel? Isn't there something better? You guys are going to have to help me out with this as a person that is not an expert on hair. Why is he even using gel? That looks it looks gross. That's something about Mary shit going on right there. What is going on with dude's hair? He is falling apart. He is a literal fucking mess, guys. You guys got to help me out here. What is going on? What is going on? What's happening, Dean? What's up, TOG? What's up, Nils? What's up, Golf? What's up, Ichikon? What is going on? Somebody tell me what is going on. This is insane. All right. So anyways, that was that. But to move on, because this is like all of this shit, like it links together, right? Like Trump's thing now, and I think just even the people in his administration have been told to do so, now is to just say to people that if something happens, just like what he just said about AI, if something happens, you just act like it didn't happen. It's not real. This goes back to Rudy Giuliani. You guys have your facts and we have our facts. Our facts are alternative facts to your facts. And it seems like that stuck. I mean, I think that they hit on something and they just kept with it because they haven't stopped doing it since that happened. I mean, the claiming that, that Trump had won the 2020 election has not stopped since 2020. It never stopped. They've never given in. They've never said, okay, actually, hey, maybe we were wrong about that. Or, it turns out, yeah, it looks like we can't prove it, whatever. They've just stuck to it. Everything up to this point is just saying that whatever you see with your own eyes, hear with your own ears, those things aren't real. Don't worry about those things. Only believe what I tell you is true. So now we have the Epstein victims that are coming out and talking, and Trump is fucking panicking. I mean, I wonder whether or not Trump actually hopes that he actually dies before all this Epstein shit comes out. Like, if there's a poison pill, Trump might be willing to take it before the Epstein victims actually get to speak for real. So Trump calls Epstein files a distraction from his success as victims call for their release. I want to read that one more time. Read this just one more time. Trump calls Epstein's files a distraction from his success as victims call for their release. What is this fucking timeline? This is the weirdest shit I've ever seen. President Donald Trump on Wednesday called demands that his administration release the Jeffrey Epstein files a distraction from his successes. A group of victims of the notorious sex offender Epstein called for those documents to be publicly disclosed. Sounds legit. Republican Rep. Thomas Massey of Kentucky and California Rep. Ro Khanna held a press conference with victims of Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell on Capitol Hill. And once again, Ghislaine Maxwell, Jizzy Lane, who wants a pardon, who Trump will 100% give one if she will just come out and just straight up fucking say everybody's a liar. President Donald Trump on Wednesday called demands that his administration release Jeffrey Epstein files a distraction from his successes as a group of victims. It's just repeating this. This is a Democratic hoax that never ends, Trump told reporters at the White House when he was asked about the Epstein files. He keeps calling them a hoax. How does anybody believe anything this guy says at this point? Despite Trump's claims, his fellow Republican Thomas Massey of Kentucky, which, guys, this is what I keep saying. Every time I talk about somebody saying something, somebody always has to jump in with I don't like this person because. I literally brought up Legia Miller the other day on this space. Legia Miller, who makes nothing but left-wing content calling out Donald Trump constantly. I swear to God, I saw like 2 people in the chat going, actually, I don't like Legia Miller because... Guys, no one's fucking perfect. I'm about to say something nice about Thomas Massey, and I know some motherfucker right now in my chat's going to be like, well, Thomas Massey. He's actually a concern. Yes, I know this. Thomas Massey is actually standing up to Donald Trump. A little bit, not a lot. I'm not saying the motherfucker is the next coming of Jesus. I'm just saying, bro deserves some props. Just some props. Not a lot. Not a fucking cookie. Not a stimmy check. I'm just saying a little bit of fucking props. He gets a little bit for this shit. You guys can fucking burn me at the stake for that if you want, but I'm giving the dude some fucking props for helping with this. Massey has filed a so-called discharge petition in the House of Representatives, which, if passed, would order the Department of Justice to release all documents related to Epstein. Massey and Rep. Ro Khanna, Democrat of California, held a press conference on Wednesday on Capitol Hill with a group of victims of Epstein and Maxwell. And that's what we're going to take a look at right now, right? But before we get into that, I wanted to talk about this, okay? This is what I wanted to talk about, because this is the beginning of all of this. Because there's a common narrative on the Trump side of this argument that Trump in 2009 cooperated with Epstein's lawyer to help get Epstein in trouble for the original case where he had been caught violating a 14-year-old girl that had been giving him a massage. Now, here's the problem with the narrative of Trump supporters saying, no, Trump turned in Epstein, so therefore Trump's not in the files. No, you see, I grew up around criminals. I grew up around hustlers. I grew up around con men, and I can tell you something. Rats are rats. And rats are usually ratting other criminals out because they're hiding their own crimes or are giving a sweetheart deal so that way they're not a part of that case. When people say Donald Trump actually turned in Epstein, bro, you don't understand. What they don't understand, and I'll even be a good faith about this, I'll say you haven't grown up around criminals. I grew up around pimps, gangsters, prostitutes, hustlers, and con men, okay? Violent criminals, non-violent criminals, drug dealers, like everything that you don't know, I do. And that is criminals turn on other criminals when they're worried about being caught up in the case. And that is what Donald Trump did in 2009. Donald Trump knows his name is all over those fucking files. And we're about to hear this gentleman say, I don't know why he's flip-flopped. I don't know why he's flip-flopped. Well, he's flip-flopped because now the information that Donald Trump knows contains his name in it is going to be released, and they're not going to be able to defend anymore by saying, well, in 2009, he actually gave information. Yeah, he routed Epstein out. Cool. But that doesn't he doesn't get immunity from the crimes that he potentially committed. So this article, Epstein's victim lawyer calls out Trump for flip-flopping after helping on Epstein case. He didn't think it was a hoax then. So let's start with the video. And then we'll read the article.
I don't understand why it's a hostile act. I can tell you that I talked to President Trump back in 2009, and several times after that, he didn't think that it was a hoax then. In fact, he helped me. He got on the phone. He told me things that were helping our investigation. Now, our investigation wasn't looking into him, but he was helping us then.
Did you hear what he just said? Our investigation wasn't looking into him back then. That's very important. You have to understand. And like I said, I'm being good faith here. I get it that maybe not a lot of people grew up around this kind of stuff. Maybe, the closest you've ever come to any type of criminal activity is watching fucking SVU on TBS or whatever fucking... I don't have cable, guys. I don't know what SVU is on. But if you don't know, then you don't know. This is what criminals do to each other.
He didn't treat this as a hoax. So at this point in time, I would hope that he would revert back to what he was saying to get elected, which is...
Thank you. What did he say to get elected?
I want transparency. This about face that occurred, none of us understand it. In fact, I don't understand how this is an issue that's even up.
What Niels just said. Don't forget Epstein's plea deal said nobody else can be prosecuted, which is what Ghislaine Maxwell is attempting to use to overturn her sentence with the Supreme Court currently. She's asking for the Supreme Court to overturn her case because using the prior case, the 2007-2009, as a foundation to not over for her to not be prosecuted. So don't forget that.
For debate. How do you not stand behind these women after you've heard their stories and know that...
Hard to believe that MTG is standing with Democrats. Why, though? Why, Dean? Why is MTG standing with Democrats, guys? Because she's been spurned. She's been spurned. Donald Trump chose Laura Loomer. And God, what a fucking fucked up dating show that would have been. Have you guys ever seen the Shane Gillis speed dating Trump skit? If you haven't, you should watch that shit. That just flashed through my dome while I was thinking about that. That's what happened, is Donald Trump chose Laura Loomer. And Laura Loomer and Marjorie Taylor Greene don't get along because they're both fucking crazy, okay? And so Marjorie Taylor Greene is now flipping. And don't get me wrong, guys. Marjorie Taylor Greene is a fucking horrid human being. A terrible human being. A shitty politician. And she is more than happy to throw any person under the bus that she can to get what she wants. So in no way am I saying that Marjorie Taylor Greene, even standing with these victims, is something that I can significantly applaud. But the one thing that you have to know about Marjorie Taylor Greene is that the moment that Trump kicks Laura Loomer to the curb and says to Marjorie Taylor Greene, hey, you're my best friend now, Marjorie Taylor Greene will fucking roll right back on over to Trump's side, right? Her standing with these victims, good. You should. Any decent human being would, and even people like Marjorie Taylor Greene that aren't decent human beings but have a lot to hide about their own actions probably want to be standing with these victims. It is weird that she's standing up there, but I would not count on her continuing to stand up there. All depends on
Hundreds of them were abused, and it was only because files are being kept in secrecy. The world should know who he is, who protected him, and the other people that are out there to be investigated need to be investigated.
What's up, Alan? So, we're going to go on. Lawyer Bradley Edwards joined Reps Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna, along with a number of Epstein's victims, on Wednesday at a press conference calling for more files related to Epstein to be released during the Q&A portion of the press conference. Trump's comments referring to the Epstein files as a hoax were brought up. Now, the thing about this is, so far they're claiming that all of the files, once again, 97%. This is their numbers, not mine. I'm not even making up. This isn't something that I'm estimating. This is what they're saying. Is that they're saying 97% of all of the files that are now being released to this House Oversight Committee are once again the same fucking files. The same shit, the same evidence that has already been released. The flight logs, the redacted files. It's the same stuff. They're saying there is only 3% of all of this material that is new to them. And even with that 3% dropping, guys, we're getting fucking already news stories coming from this. New footage of Epstein's cell that they're saying like, oh shit, hold on. There's something to be said about this that leads to us questioning. We already were questioning, and we know that Pam Bondi's full of shit. The 1 minute of footage that Pam Bondi said was missing and is missing from all of them, guys. Remember that. It's hard to remember all these lies. But remember that. 1 minute of footage missing from all of these videos. That actually wasn't true. So the 3% that they have gotten that is new is already calling into account new questions. And this is very important. So obviously during that video we saw that Edwards noted that in 2009 that Trump, a former friend of Epstein's, was helpful during an investigation into Epstein, but now his public comments paint a completely different attitude. Epstein was convicted in 2008 of soliciting prostitution from a minor. One more time. Epstein was convicted in 2008 of soliciting prostitution from a minor. Once again, Donald Trump's comments on Epstein were in 2012? Pretty good guy, terrific guy, likes him young, just like me. 2012. He died of an apparent suicide, 2019, while awaiting charges. He didn't think that it was a hoax then. In fact, he helped me. He got on the phone. He told me things that were helping out the investigation. Now our investigation wasn't looking at him, but he was helping us then. He didn't treat this as a hoax. Just the fact that people are just like fucking, like, he said all of this shit was real and now he's saying it's a hoax. Like, it's fucking mind-boggling. Trump has said he's open to more Epstein files being released, but he's faced pushback from even his own MAGA supporters since the Department of Justice released a memo denying the existence of files related to Epstein that would implicate other high-profile people who took part in his decades of abuse. So let me just ask you a question. Let's put it this way. If somebody were to say to you, hey man, I think that you stole something, and you were like, well, you know, there's camera footage of that, you know, and it does exist to show that I didn't steal it. And you were like, oh, okay, can we see that footage? And you were like, I just can't. I want to. Hey, camera guy in the back, release that footage, man. The camera guy doesn't want to do it. The camera guy doesn't want to do it. I'm sorry. Would you trust that motherfucker? No, the answer is no. You would be more convinced even if you came into that being like, I think this guy, I don't know, maybe he stole that shit, maybe he didn't. Who knows? I just need to ask this dude about it. If somebody responded to you in that manner, you would be like, I think actually he did steal that shit now. Edwards said on Wednesday that he and the victims do not understand Trump's about face on Epstein, which I severely hope that that's just him using language to attempt to get this administration to release these files to get justice for these women. Because if they don't understand Trump's about face, I have to question whether or not they are paying attention to what is being said. At this point in time, I would hope that he would revert back, guys. That's what he said. At this point in time, I would hope that he would revert back to what he was saying to get elected, which is, I want transparency. When Trump's comments were brought up later, Edwards described Trump as friendly during the original investigation and pushed for him to go back to that support. In comments to the press on Wednesday, Trump doubled down on his Epstein comments, calling the story a Democratic hoax that never ends. Guys. Curse Black. That's a good name. I like that name, Curse Black. He does look like the Edgar suit. Ichikon, you're talking about Men in Black. Oh, maybe not. I'm thinking Men in Black. I was thinking of the thing where the roaches come out. I think he looks more like that dude in Men in Black every day. Just release the files, man. If you aren't scared, if you aren't concerned about fucking that you're not in those files, then release the files. Redact the victims' names. Do it. And here's the things, guys. Here's the thing that is probably the best about all of this, guys. I love this for them. I love this so much for them. Is if they don't want to do it, turns out the victims say they're going to do it. It just got spicy. It just got spicy, guys. Because you know what happens with these world leaders, these Republicans, Democrats, whoever's in it. I don't give a fuck. Clinton, fucking any of those dudes, people that were in Obama's administration, people that were in Biden's administration that were linked, people that are in Trump's administration, Trump himself, Prince Andrew, fucking musicians and stuff. Don't care. Noam Chomsky whoever. I don't care. Whoever has been mentioned to have gone to Epstein's island or has had any type of relationship with Epstein, if their name happens to be in those files, release the files. Go for it. Like, I'm all for it, because these people, these women, deserve justice. And the reason this has gotten so spicy is because if these women decide to just start naming names, these motherfuckers are going to have flashbacks of the Me Too movement. These motherfuckers are going to be calling Harvey Weinstein and being like, oh, shit, brother. Get me a bunk bed ready. I think we're about to be roomies. They remember what the fuck happened. It wasn't that long ago. This is about to be real for these people. And so this is the women at the recent press conference talking about doing that.
Hi there, my name is Lisa Phillips, and I'm the host of a award-nominated podcast called From Now On, a platform supporting survivors.
What's happening, Jeremy?
I want to thank all of my survivor sisters who came before me today. I'll be very short. In the year 2000, I was taken to Jeffrey Epstein's island while on a photo shoot on a nearby island. Who I saw and what I experienced there was a glimpse into a very dark and disturbing world. For years after, I tried to avoid Jeffrey, but he had introduced me to Katie Ford, the owner of the Ford Modeling Agency. Epstein's reach went to the very top of fashion, arts, and entertainment. This did not just happen to underage girls in Florida. In New York City, hundreds of young, ambitious women were abused by him. Epstein was not just a serial predator, he was an international human trafficker. And many around him knew, many participated, and many profited.
And who are they? That's where this fucking comes to. Do you know how much fucking courage it takes to be this woman? Do you know how much... Like, there's not a single fucking person in MAGA that has even a fucking small amount of this woman's courage. Do you know what it takes to stand up there and do this? Like, these are the type of people that think, oh, they're just doing it for attention. I swear to God. These people, like... Like, you just don't understand what it takes to live the life that these people have had to live with the shit that happened to them. How many fucking years later that this will never go away for them. This will always be part of their story. It'll always be a part of how they're judged, who they are as a person. And they got to stand up here in front of the fucking press, in front of the fucking world. The world is watching this. And say, how about just a little justice? How about just a tiny bit?
And yet, he was protected. So I stand here today for every woman who has been silenced, exploited, and dismissed. We are not asking for pity. We are here demanding accountability, and I'm demanding justice. Congress must choose. Will you continue to protect predators, or will you finally protect survivors? And also,
solid question.
I would like to announce here today, us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now, together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know.
Let's fucking go. Who have they been talking to? Who have they been talking to this whole fucking time, guys? This woman exists. She has a fucking podcast. The names of these victims are everywhere. What about Katie Johnson? Nobody, they don't want to hear from Katie Johnson. No, they want to hear from fucking Ghislaine. Because they are protecting people. And as I said before, I don't care who they are. I know my ass isn't in them. I know the people that I love, the people I appreciate, ain't in them. And you know what I like about a younger Congress coming through? The idea of all of these people that are retiring right now, all these old-ass politicians that are retiring right now, is that a lot of these young people that are coming up that are getting elected these spots, they ain't in those files either. This shit's coming out.
Who were regularly in the Epstein world. And it will be done by survivors and for survivors. No one else is involved. Stay tuned for more details.
You see that? You see the support she gets from that? Because those people know how hard that is. Because they understand that what she just did is like takes an amount of courage that like most people will never ever have in their entire lives.
Hello, my name is Shantae Davies, and I'm here before you today as a survivor of decades of pain, trauma, and betrayal at the hands of Ghislaine Maxwell and
Decades.
Jeffrey Epstein, and the people who enabled them, and a government that for far too long refused to help. In 2002, I was living in California, a young woman.
You guys hear that? The screaming and the cheering and stuff? Guarantee that's for the flyover. So the White House scheduled a flyover at the same time as these guys doing their, like, where's Trump? Tell me that. Fucking answer that fucking question. Answer that question. Where's Trump? Is Trump down here showing support to the Epstein victims? Is Trump down there saying to those women, like, I'm so sorry that this happened to you? Is Trump down there showing support and saying, I'm going to get you justice? No! He's not there because he's in the fucking files. Because he's protecting the people that he knows that are in the fucking files. Ask yourself, what would a good person do? What would they do? A good person would be down there with those women. Fuck, Marjorie Taylor Greene is down there. Holy shit. When has Trump ever spoken to a single fucking one of these women? Shook their hand, said that what happened to them was wrong, apologized to them to what his friend did to them. When? Never. Because why?
Woman with high aspirations of becoming an actress, I was already beginning to make a name for myself in the industry.
Yeah, he called it a hoax.
A person I trusted, someone I thought was a friend, invited me to meet a powerful woman who could help advance my career. That woman happened to be Ghislaine Maxwell. I was asked to give her a massage, though I had almost no experience, and when I did, she praised me and promised introductions to someone enormously powerful, someone who could change the course of my life, and that man was Jeffrey Epstein. At first, I was an excited young woman on top of the world. Epstein flew me to his private island. He listened to my dreams, promised to help, but his promises came with a catch. The abuse began. He told me to keep it secret. He manipulated me with quid pro quo I did not consent to, but I felt I had no one to turn to. He was too powerful. I was just one of the many young women trapped in his orbit. I was even taken on a trip to Africa with former President Bill Clinton and other notable figures. In those moments, I realized...
Say the names, man. Say the names. It doesn't matter. Like, no one should be sitting here going like, oh, I don't like it because she said a certain name. Say the names. Then let the investigations happen.
How powerless I was. If I spoke out, who would believe me? Who would protect me? Epstein himself was the most powerful leader of our country. Epstein surrounded himself, with the most powerful leaders of our country and the world. He abused not only me, but countless others, and everyone seemed to look away. The truth is, Epstein had a free pass. He bragged about his powerful friends, including our current president, Donald Trump.
Say the names. Say the names.
It was his biggest brag, actually. And while what I endured will haunt me forever, I live every day with PTSD. I live as a mother trying to raise my child while distrusting a world that has betrayed me. This kind of trauma never leaves you. It breaks families apart. It shapes the way we see everyone around us. But one thing is certain, unless we learn from this history, monsters like Epstein will rise again. There are files, government files, that hold the truth about Epstein, who he knew, who owed him, who protected him, and why he was allowed to operate for so long without consequence. Why was Maxwell the only one held accountable when so many others played a role? Why does the government hide this information from the public? This secrecy is not protection, it's complicity. And as long as the truth is buried, justice will remain out of reach. That is why this bill matters. Passing it will, bless you, ensure that the suffering of survivors is not in vain. Passing it will bring accountability, transparency, and prevention. It will help protect the next generation of predators who seek to place themselves above the law through wealth, influence, and connections. This is not just my story. It is about every survivor who carries invisible scars. It's about the weight we live with daily. It is about the families broken and the future stolen. So I ask you, President Trump and members of Congress, why do we continue to cover up sexual abuse and assault? Who are we covering for? Let the public know the truth. We cannot heal without justice. We cannot protect the future if we refuse to confront the past. Thank you.
You know, there's something to be said here, too. Something that needs to be said. Because she said, you know, not only did he get away with it, but it was like an acceptable life, an acceptable behavior. During that time, we have multitudes of stories about men in power that abused children, abused women, abused their employees, both men and women. And yet somehow people still to this day just can't get it through their head. And you know my wife said this, and at the time, like, it hadn't quite gone through my head. But I think we were watching the Vince McMahon, not Jim McMahon. Sorry, Jim McMahon. Bears forever, brother. Vince McMahon. Okay. I think I was watching the Vince McMahon documentary on Netflix, and it's about a lot of it is about Vince McMahon's abuse, and it's about the Degeneration X era of wrestling, where it was like, you know, rip the tops off women, power bomb them in there. It's women hitting women, men hitting women. And it's a whole, you know, portion of, I think, the late 90s, maybe the early 2000s of wrestling. And my wife said, like, this is what Trump means when he says, take America back to when it was great. And that is so fucking right. Because when she says that not only did he get away with it, but he was applauded for it, that's what that time was. Being a powerful man in America gave you license, as Donald Trump said himself. When you are rich, when you are powerful, they let you do it. You can just walk up and grab him by the pussy. The man's own words, his own words describes a time when it was acceptable for men in power to abuse people. Not just acceptable, but expected. Expected to the point that employees didn't speak out against it because they were concerned that nobody would care, nobody would listen. The only thing worse than being a victim of something like that is to go to people, tell them it happened, go through the embarrassment, the shame that you feel for that happening, and then have them turn a cold shoulder on you and tell you that your life is worth so little that it doesn't matter. This is why Trump isn't there. Because Trump can't look that woman in the face. He can't look her in the eyes. He knows what the fuck happened. Because all of those people back then knew what happened. They accepted it. They thought they'll never be caught. And if there were people that didn't participate in it happening, but they saw it happen, they knew it happened, they thought, these are just the way that people play at this level. This is just the rules when you get to this elite level of being a rich, wealthy piece of shit human being. The Me Too movement happened, and if I was scared, if I was these people, if I were these politicians, I would be fucking scared. Because if their eyes are open, if they're listening to what people are saying, there's no way that you can watch this kind of stuff and not say to yourself that a great crime has gone unnoticed, uncared for, that has happened to the very people that we claim we want to protect the most.
just give a round of applause for all the courage and strength that the survivors have shown. We now will take a few questions. You can always get Congressman Massey, me, or Congresswoman Green in the hallways and other places. If you have questions for us, that's fine. But I wanted to see first if you have questions for the lawyers and the survivors, and Brad will facilitate any of the questions to the survivors.
Before they start this Q&A too, I have to say this because I give Democrats a lot of shit for not doing stuff. Good job. Good job.
Yes.
Yeah. This question would be for the survivors, Mr. Edwards. The president has said that this Epstein issue is a hoax, is the word that he used. Can we get your reactions to what you think when you hear him say?
That's the sound of the flyover. That's so fucking disrespectful.
I'll answer that. Mr. President Donald J. Trump, I am a registered Republican, not that that matters because this is not political. However, I cordially invite you to the Capitol to meet me in person so you can understand this is not a hoax. We are real human beings.
Wow.
This is real trauma.
What does it feel like emotionally to hear that?
Devastating.
It's being gutted from the inside out. Not that I would know what that feels like, but I imagine it's the anxiety buildup with the depression and the survival mode, and then your nervous system goes limp and ironically is shot. And it feels like you just want to explode inside because nobody, again, is understanding that this is a real situation. These women are real. We're here in person. To say that it's a hoax is just not... Please humanize us. I would like Donald J. Trump and every person in America and around the world to humanize us, to see us for who we are and to hear us for what we have to say. There is no hoax. The abuse was real. Now, what goes on behind closed doors, I can't speak for that. What happens around the world politically, I cannot speak for that. But I am here with all of these women, including our attorneys, and I would be more than happy to meet with him, and I will meet him halfway.
Ms. Edwards, I wonder if any of the victims could respond to the news from recently about Ghislaine Maxwell being transferred to a lower security prison in the aftermath of speaking to Todd White.
You want that one? About her transfer to
Oh, yeah.
Sure. I'm happy to speak to that. We were horrified to learn that she had been transferred to a prison camp. She is someone who was found guilty by a jury of sex trafficking. She not only, we often hear that she procured women for Jeffrey, which I think is a very sort of polite and minimizing term.
Jesus,
she also participated in the abuse. She was a major architect of the scheme. And the fact that she has painted herself as a victim, I think is disgusting. And it was horrifying, I think, to us that we were not told about her prison transfer. We found out about it in the news.
Just
1 minute, I think Anushka maybe has.
Well, and it's insane that anybody, like, oh, how did we get here? How did fucking American society devolve this far? That we went from fucking these shit fucks would want, like, hang your local pedophile shirts, like, fucking bumper stickers, all this shit. And it's like, it just really, like, destroys my faith in humanity. Like, you want to wear a shirt, you want to wear a hat, you put a bumper sticker on your car. But they move her to a minimum security facility where she gets to fucking do arts and crafts. What happened to hang them? What fucking happened to fucking put them in the wood chipper? What happened to all that shit? What happened to it? And this is why I have no faith in MAGA. I have zero faith in MAGA. If you're not just absolutely losing your shit about Ghislaine Maxwell being moved to a lower security prison, and you are one of these fucking people that are like, give me a hat, give me a shirt. You're full of shit. You have no courage. And when you are gone, no one will be sad. Just a heads up.
So, Anushka DiGiorgio, I testified alongside Annie at the trial of Ghislaine Maxwell.
Thanks,
I was
Ichika.
horrified when I found out not only had Ghislaine Maxwell been transferred to what's called a low security. It's really is like a holiday camp. And then afterwards, I got a notification from the Department of Justice telling me that this was going to happen when it had already happened. This woman abused children.
How fucking disrespectful. I'm at a point, and it's not a good place. Like, I got nothing left for these people.
I was abused by Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell for over 10 years. Ghislaine Maxwell was present for some of my abuse at the hand of Jeffrey Epstein. She was present, she was complicit, she was enabling, and it is appalling and disgusting. And it's one of my worst nightmares that she not only be transferred, but at the possibility that's very much going around that she might be pardoned. This is not okay, guys. This is not okay.
And I just want to add that I think it sends a very dangerous message to our country, to the young people in our country, that someone that we all know is aware of these crimes could be given a pass.
And just for the last survivor who just spoke, the last survivor who just spoke, she said that Epstein would brag about her relationship with Donald Trump. Could she please elaborate about that?
Shante.
Get to the microphones.
Get close. Yeah, I did say that.
Oh! Dude, fuck Donald Trump.
My first trip to the Palm Beach residence, I drove there from the airport with Ghislaine Maxwell, and Jeffrey and Ghislaine were always very boastful about their friends, their famous or powerful friends, and his biggest brag forever was that he was very good friends with Donald Trump. He had an 8x10 framed picture of him on his desk with the two of them. Like, they were very close.
Go ahead.
Like, do people understand how hard that is for a person to do? She had to say that about the most powerful man in America. That woman's courage, her bravery for being able to stand up and say that about a person who is currently going after every one of his political enemies, going after every news reporter that says anything about him, going after any and every person in this country. A man who just literally used the military to fucking kill a bunch of dudes in a boat, and then he just said they were narcotics traffickers. Like, do you know what kind of fucking courage, what kind of bravery it takes to fucking get up there and say that? Like, that is fucking insane. Like, people need to not minimize the amount of strength that a person that's doing what these people are doing. Like what they're doing is fucking out of this world. It takes great fucking courage. Every one of these women had dreams. Every one of these women had some type of career that they wanted to be a part of, something that when they were little girls that they dreamed about being. And those dreams were taken in the worst possible way. And the only reward that they got for any of that was to be here 20 fucking years later just asking the most fucking powerful man in the fucking world to just release the information on the people that did this shit to them. No one should minimize how hard it is for these women to do this.
One second.
For this client was that he
ladies are putting together, you said it would be confidential, but will the public, could you clarify, will the public get to see about the list?
So Lisa, what's your envision here?
Is it going to go to the public or just amongst the survivors?
No, we're reaching out to survivors that are scared.
So come on up.
We're reaching out to survivors that are scared to come forward and that also know who they were trafficked to. So that's the list that we're compiling. We're not quite sure, how we're going to release that, or even if we're going to. The Department of Justice needs to release the list.
Right,
yes.
Yeah.
For folks at home, they might be confused. Survivors know the names. You've seen these powerful people. Why can't you say the names? Could you just
Why do we
explain
have
for
to?
folks?
Why do we have to say the names when the government knows the names?
And here's the thing about that. And that's that's such a dumb question from that reporter. Why don't they just say the names? Because they don't have protection. Because they don't have billions of dollars in lawyer fees. When people ask me, they go, well, why did Katie Johnson, why did she drop the civil case against Trump in 2019? Why? Have you ever fought a case against somebody who is marginally more well off than you are? Do you understand that Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were, even back then, two of the most powerful people in this country? The death threats to her family, just the fucking paperwork. Do you understand that Donald Trump is a professional when it comes to court cases? He has had over 4,000 cases against him in 30 years. He is proving today in our political fucking sphere that he can literally bog down the courts with paperwork to keep them from legit, actually enforcing the Constitution. And you think a woman with no means was going to fight him in court? Why don't they just say the fucking names? Are you fucking joking me? Are you wearing fucking clown shoes? Because the reason that they don't say the names is they shouldn't be the ones that has to do it. They say the names to the people that are supposed to do something about it. The question is why the fuck hasn't anybody done anything about it?
And we're also scared to do so. Look what's happened to so many of the survivors that have revealed names.
Yeah, I find the question about the bill.
I think it's also worth saying that having represented, I think, between our firm and Boyd Schiller, hundreds of victims, and we've talked to them about the various people that they were farmed out to. So we've created somewhat of a list. Most of these individuals, the victims, are very scared to say these names because they could get sued, they're going to get attacked, and nobody protected them the first time. And that was against one person. So is there a list? There is a list, but just to dispel kind of the common theme here, every one of these women was abused by Jeffrey Epstein, and his scheme was to personally abuse women. When they reached a certain age, he did farm a section of them, some of them, out to some of his friends. That doesn't mean all of his friends. With that said, I'm more than happy to assist in helping create the list behind the scenes and see what we do with it.
Let's go.
Go ahead.
Let's go.
I think if someone's interested in prosecuting, they may have something different to say about sharing a list, but they're not sharing a list for nothing to happen, and that's the experience that they've had for all of these years.
100%. Fucking A. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I fucking queued up all these videos, and now I'm like, I don't know if I can watch these videos. It makes me so mad. Okay. We're going to do it. So now we're going to talk about the House vote to approve the Jeffrey Epstein probe measure. The House voted 212 to 208. I want to know who the fuck those 208 people are. We need all of those names, and I know we can get them. So we're going to work on that. We're going to talk about that. 208 names. 208 names that also should be fucking investigated. 208 names that should possibly also be prosecuted. $208.
Several of us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list of names.
Good job, lady.
Yes.
Good job.
We know the names. Many of us were abused by them.
Our demands are clear. Ghislaine Maxwell must remain in a maximum security prison for the rest of her life.
How is that even a fucking question?
No leniency, no deals, no special treatment. The Epstein documents must be unsealed. Every name, every detail, no more secrets, no more protection for those who preyed on the vulnerable. And finally, we demand full accountability from every enabler, every accomplice, every person in power who turned a blind eye. The justice system was not designed to serve the powerful. It was meant to protect the people.
It was meant to, but it was designed to protect the powerful. I'll disagree. It was designed to protect the powerful.
One of the many young women trapped in his orbit. I was even taken on a trip to Africa with former President Bill Clinton and other notable figures. In those moments, I realized how powerless I was. If I spoke out, who would believe me? Who would protect me? Epstein himself was the most powerful leader of our country. Epstein surrounded himself, with the most powerful leaders of our country and the world. He abused not only me, but countless others, and everyone seemed to look away. The truth is, Epstein had a free pass. He bragged about his powerful friends, including our current president, Donald Trump. It was his biggest brag, actually.
Jeffrey Epstein, sexual abuse survivors and their family members shared their stories in.
Oh, this is the. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. This is the. I'm very worked up right now. This is the bullshit that Mike Johnson was playing at. Okay. I apologize. This is the Mike Johnson thing.
Washington, D.C. Now, this comes as the House voted 212 to 208 to approve a measure directing the House Oversight Committee to continue its ongoing.
Sorry. So that I'm wrong about that, and this is a very emotional topic. I'm wrong about that. This is the bullshit that Mike Johnson is doing right now to continue to slog down and continue the investigation rather than to release more of the files. So this shit, I was wrong. I shouldn't have said that. I apologize. But it's very emotional shit. This is the shit that Mike Johnson wants to do to continue to bog down the release of the Epstein files. This is actually something that is bad. I don't watch these videos beforehand. That's my fault. I knew about the shit from Mike Johnson. I should have probably recognized that that's what this was talking about. But this is actually not a good thing that they're doing this, because it's to continue the probe rather than to release more. This is actually a stalling tactic by Mike Johnson. However, fuck, I hate politics, man.
Investigation into the Epstein case. Let's bring in CBS News congressional correspondent Caitlin Huey-Burns, joining us live now from Capitol Hill. Caitlin, thank you for being with us. What do we know about this latest push by Congress to get more transparency when it comes to the Epstein case?
Well, this is something that leadership up here on Capitol Hill had hoped would die down on the Republican side during the recess, and it really didn't. In fact,
What are we even fucking saying? Dude, is anybody actually still alive? Is this the dead internet? Are you guys real? Are you guys real? I'm starting to question shit, man. They were hoping this would die out during the recess. How can anybody hear somebody say some shit like that and then just be like, still supportive of these people. They were hoping that this would die out while they were on vacation, guys. Fuck, I almost need a break right now. Yeah. Is that apparent to anybody else why that's bad? Does anybody else fucking understand why her saying that is bad? Do I have to explain this? Can we not, regardless of political party, regardless of who our favorite fucking politician is, regardless of your pro-life versus pro-choice, or fucking pro-immigrant, or fucking against allowing people into the country, can we not agree that somebody saying that our politicians hoped that the fucking fur around the fucking Epstein files would just fucking die out? What fucking world is this?
Intensified, and yesterday
what the
bipartisan push to gather signatures for a discharge petition gained steam, which a discharge petition, essentially you have to get 218 signatures, and then that would force a vote on the House floor, and in this case to vote to release all of the Epstein files. Now, what happened yesterday was the Oversight Committee released 33,000 pages of documents related to that case. They had subpoenaed.
Like I said, 97% of those fucking documents had already been released.
The Justice Department for those documents. They got them and released them last night. Not a ton was new there, and we're still combing through them.
She said not a ton. They've literally said, these aren't my numbers. They're not my numbers. 97% of it is the same shit. The flight logs, the redacted information. It's just another binder of bullshit.
But from the perspective of House Republican leadership, they would like that to be the avenue where this goes. And they're hoping that that will quell the
No, fuck that. Fuck that.
Calls from some members of the base for more of these documents to be.
They want to quell the calls of some members of their base. Fucking Republicans, do you hear what these people are saying? God damn it, man. I want there to be, like, hope for this fucking country. Jesus Christ. I watched the fucking Tim Tebow, Sean Ryan fucking podcast the other day. Don't watch this shit back to back. This country is filled with fucking pedos, dude. I guess it shouldn't surprise me that people don't care. Like, if you haven't watched it, you should watch the Sean Ryan podcast with Tim Tebow. I don't recommend it as entertainment. It's definitely not entertainment. It's just it's fucking sad.
Released. So by this vote today, they essentially agreed that the House Oversight Committee will continue this investigation, and this is meant to deter any Republicans from signing on to that discharge petition.
Because they want to discharge the documents. So this is what I got wrong. Like I said, you gotta say it when you're wrong. What I got wrong was they want to just actually force them to release all of these files. And instead, what Mike Johnson decided to fucking do, was to instead continue this probe to stop them from voting on it, because there are people in the Republican Congress that legit will vote with the Democrats to make the rest of those documents public. Fuck these people, man. If you are not a person that supports what is happening to children in this country, this is not a political question. This isn't are you left, this isn't are you right, this isn't are you MAGA, are you progressive. This is a question about whether or not you support people defending people that harm children, man. How else can I put it? What else do you want me to say? Like, is there a clearer way to say that you're fucking protecting pedos, man? Is there a clearer way?
And the White House has also gotten involved, contacting members who may have signed that or may have been inclined to sign that.
Oh, sorry, Dark Cash. I see you saying that, and I don't want poor Tim Tebow to take an L on this one. Sorry, Dark Cash. Sorry. Dude, I'm a little emotional up here. I should be better about that. Tim Tebow is attempting to help fucking bring pedos to justice. Just a heads up, Dark Cash. Sorry. Now I see Tim Tebow just taking all kinds of L's in chat, and that's totally my fault. No, Tebow actually went on Sean Ryan's podcast to talk about bringing pedos to justice, because apparently he is part of a movement, and he really brings to light that, like, there's a chance for the government to put funding into all of these groups, and they choose not to. They literally know where these people are and what they're doing, and they're not willing to do anything about it. They're not willing to fund the groups to go out and put these people in jail to bring justice for these children. He talks about the number one country in the world for child porn and other related stuff is America. It's America. Sorry about that, Tim Tebow. Sorry about that, Tim. yeah, got to clear that one up. My bad. Anyways, yeah, I don't know how much I can talk about this shit because I'm really getting kind of fucking emotional about it. And obviously I'm making mistakes because of that. So you should watch the Sean Ryan, Tim Tebow podcast. Like I said, I say that, but it just has made me even more upset.
A petition to say signing on to that discharge petition. And the White House has also gotten involved, contacting members who may have signed that or may have been inclined to sign that petition, to say doing so would be essentially a slap in the face to the White House and Donald Trump, and that the appropriate avenue, in their view, is to go through the Oversight Committee here. That is what the message is coming, and as you just saw, it passed on the House floor.
Now, Caitlin, you mentioned there wasn't really anything new in this 34,000-page document. So what was in it?
That's right, and we're still kind of combing through this, but a lot of this was already seen in previous dumps of information. The bottom line here is that the Oversight Committee would like to keep going with this, and they are ready to subpoena for more documents. So that will be the place to look for additional information coming out. But the Oversight Committee, of course, is chaired by Republicans. Democrats are arguing that it will kind of be mired in politics, and it won't be able to gather all of the information, all of the documents out there, and their argument is that the White House could be in charge of releasing those. So still a lot of...
Yeah, they just want to stall it. That's the argument, at least. The argument from the Democratic side is that Republicans just want to continue to stall this. Take it to the fucking floor. Vote to release the files. Let America see who in our politics are willing to keep safe people in our country that and across the world, because that woman in that fucking speech said, and world leaders. Let Americans see, man. Let us see who, Democrat, Republican, whoever, who are they? Who are the ones that are willing to protect these pieces of human fucking garbage? Take it to the floor. Stop with this stalling bullshit. Let's see the real fucking stuff. This is not a question. We know this shit exists. You've told us for fucking years that it exists. Both sides have told us. Both sides unequivocally has said that these files exist. They've even hyperbolically talked about lists and video footage. Both sides. So let us fucking see. Let us fucking see who is. Who's willing to fucking stand 10 toes fucking down? Who's standing on business? And who the fuck fuck is sitting there with their butt cheeks clenched going, I am going down if this information comes out? We need to fucking know that shit.
Partisan politics being played here, and I should note also that that Democrats have really seized a political opening. Notably, they didn't call for this before Trump was in office. This was something that kind of festered on the right. But Democrats have certainly seized this opportunity and are looking for any sort of political advantage, and are trying to see it through this one.
And doesn't matter to me. Democrats, Republicans, whoever fucking kept his shit. Fuck them. Fuck them. And this is, like, I just want to say this because I started off the show in this manner for a reason. What is at stake for this country right now is nothing to be laughed at. It's nothing to be just fucking, we'll get him next time. And across the content creation sphere, all I see is left-wing people eating left-wing people. I see it in chats. I see it in videos. I see content creators that are on the left going in on other left-wing content creators. I see virtue signaling. I see people falling prey to virtue mirroring. If you don't believe every single thing I do, then I hate you. This ain't the fucking time. Lefties, get your shit together. This is what we're fucking dealing with. And you want to talk about fucking chorus? You want to talk about what the guy on the other side that you don't like on the left is doing? You want fucking Hassan versus fucking Ethan. You want fucking Destiny versus Vosh. You are the viewer. You determine what these fucking people put out. Do you want people talking about things that fucking matter? Or do you want people creating drama within the left while the right laughs at you? Because they're laughing at you. They are. Do you want to fight over words? Do you want to fight over fucking anything right now when something like this is fucking happening? Every time I mention a left-wing content creator on this channel, I see 2-3 people go, I hate that person cuz. Do you think that shit happens on the right? This is I'm actually pretty fucking irritated right now. People need to stop. Stop eating your own. Stop. And if you're a viewer, stop playing into it. I know that life's boring. I know it's monotonous. I know that we've lost social connection. I know that we work every day of our life, 9 to 5. But I'm not up here to tell you what you want to hear. I'm not here for that. I don't make money off this shit. I'm only here because I care. Like, do you? You know? Do you? It doesn't fucking matter, Dan. It doesn't matter. I'm talking to everybody, Dan. I'm saying to Destiny. I'm saying to Vosh. I'm saying to Hassan. I'm saying to Sam Cedar. I'm saying to everybody out there that just is doing this shit for clicks and views. That is just doing this shit to become popular, to become famous, to become wealthy, whatever the fuck you're doing it for, that doesn't have anything to do with what the left is supposed to fucking represent. You need solidarity. If you are a person, because I see people in chat say, that person's not on the left. That person's actually an undercover conservative. You know what that is? That's literally a right-wing talking point. That's literally them trying to get you to talk about that shit in your echo chambers. And we fucking fall for it. I'm going to create a fucking list, I swear to God, of all the things that people believe people that are left-wing are. And then I'm going to go out and I'm going to fucking take down all the fucking times that one of these content creators has said that they are one of those people. Are they pro-choice? Are they pro-universal health care? Are they pro-social safety nets? Are they pro-immigrant? I'm going to take every one of those fucking things and I'm just going to attach it to all these guys because I don't fucking agree with everything they say. I don't. But I don't fucking play this game that people seem to continue to fucking play. Like, this isn't a game. It's actually real fucking life. And people are treating it like it's clicks and views and money and bullshit. Meanwhile, there's women out there that have literally been fucking abused. Their whole dreams stolen from them. And the reward is that they get to stand up in front of a bunch of fucking people that don't actually give a shit, that just want to be entertained. I don't care how many people leave my channel. I don't care how many people that decide to unsubscribe. Fucking unsubscribe. Because if you're not here to actually take care of people, if you're not here to actually give a shit about doing something about this administration, I don't want you here. And the fact that it's the fucking clown telling you that, I'm a fucking clown. That's what I am. I'm up here to make jokes and have fun. There'll be a video of this shit. Fucking clown crashes out. Left-wing clown crashes out. I'm up here to make fun of this shit. Why am I the person saying this? You gotta understand, man. I see shit like this. My sisters were abused. I was abused. My mom was abused. It's wild that the things that people on the internet care about are watching left-wing people fight with left-wing people. And if you keep it up, man, we're going to lose again. And I don't know how many people are going to be left to keep fighting this fight. Let's listen to Jasmine Crockett. Somebody can fucking say how much they hate Jasmine Crockett because she didn't say something. Like I said, I'll do a show for 6 fucking people. I don't care. I'll do a show for 6 fucking people. As long as they are 6 people that are 10 toes down with getting shit done and stopping with this entertainment bullshit. So let's watch Jasmine Crockett, because actually Jasmine Crockett speaks fucking... Also, I love that haircut, Jasmine. When did Jasmine cut her hair? Okay, drinking my sparkling water. I'm happy now.
We're having this conversation because of the oversight Democratic leadership. And so I want to reiterate that it's the Democratic leadership on oversight that is truly been able to move this forward. I'm sure many of you don't recall, but we were sent home early to try to avoid being able to take.
Good fucking call, Jasmine. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. Right there. That's what it's about. Reminding people. Because there's so much to this shit, man. They fire hose on purpose. It's the whole tactic. There's so much to remember that I remember other shit. I remember they went on vacation. Do I remember that the reason they went on vacation was because they were intentionally trying to make this be forgotten. Good job. Good job.
Take a vote on something like getting these files. We are about doing real transparency. We don't care who's in the files. We are going after you. So if I had to sum up what happened today.
No matter who
we
you
heard
are.
the stories of victims, and honestly, we heard the story of at least one person that has never come forward before today. This was the very first time that she was telling anyone in a semi-public way her story. And if I had to summarize the theme, I would say that their theme was to do something. It is probably the theme of the American people in general right now when it comes to government, is that they want us to do something. So yes, we had the roundtable, but they actually want to see some action. The fact that this started off in the 90s, and we had someone who could talk about what happened to them in the 90s, but then you go down the line and you've got somebody that's telling us their story from 2008.
Exactly. Decades. How is this even a fucking thing decades later? Decades, man. And this is not just the Epstein list, man. This is what every child that has ever been harmed goes through. This isn't unique. Every child that has been harmed spends decades dealing with this. Oftentimes, the things that happen to children don't even come out until they're in their 30s, their 40s. Like I said, like, who are we protecting? Are we protecting children, or are we protecting fucking pedos, man? Is that really a question? Is that a question?
These failures led to years and years of abuse that did not have to take place. And so the reality is this. Some think that this is all over, and some think that nothing else is going on. But if there was ever a RICO case, it would have been the Epstein case. So how we went from something that should have been RICO because of how sophisticated of a system this was, and this wasn't just one little sick old man that was doing stuff, but there were so many layers, whether we're talking about the banks that were involved, whether we're talking about those that worked for him, that helped him, whether we're talking about the monster known as Maxwell, and that's exactly how y'all need to refer to her. She is a monster. She is not a victim. So let me tell you, I want some action items to come out of this, because for once we somewhat look like we're bipartisan in the Oversight Committee. Number one,
there we go. So that's the question is does it look like it, or is something going to happen? And, you know, am I actually going to be right about something is the question. And, you know, fuck, man, when I first started doing this and I would make jokes about MAGA and, like, you know, Reverend would come in here and Reverend would give me a hard time about, like, not just, like, completely tossing MAGA to the wolves. And, you know, I'd have the MAGA people come through my channel and they would, you know, I'd talk shit to them so they'd hang around, and then, you know, I'd have conversations with them, and Reverend would say, you're wasting your time, these people will never come back, they're in a cult. And I was like, fucking 10 toes down until he proved that he was right and I was wrong, man. And, you know, this might be in some way some type of redemption for me, if I could just see some fucking Republicans stand up to this administration and what's going on over what's happened to these children. Like, could I get some fucking redemption for attempting to offer a path of redemption to some of the MAGA people? Like, fuck, man. Give me a W.
We need answers. We need answers on why it is that Maxwell was transferred from her current station or her former station in Florida down to Texas. We need to have an understanding, because everything that I heard today leads me to know that for sure she was all up and in and through this entire process.
Thank you.
Not to mention that she was indicted by a jury of her peers, and then she was tried and convicted and given 20 years. So why is it that we had somebody, again, it almost seems like we are doomed to repeat our failure.
And remember, folks, this is the woman that people tell you she's ghetto. She doesn't speak well. Remember that, because this is the same shit they did to Kamala Harris. And you should ask yourself, why don't they want you listening to intelligent people? Why don't they want you to pay attention when Jasmine Crockett is speaking? Why do they want you to disregard the things that she says? Why? Because she speaks clearly, because she's intelligent. Because if you spend enough time listening to her, you might it might break through. You might be like, well, holy shit, some of the shit she says actually makes sense. Like, I mean, I think it's fucking crazy. I do think it's crazy that we have to sit here and explain this shit. I think it's fucking insane that Jasmine Crockett has to get up in front of a bunch of people, produce a video, have it get out there for people to go, oh, that is weird. That Ghislaine Maxwell, like, she was a part of all that. That's crazy. And then she did get sent to a minimum security prison. That is weird. Like, it's strange to me because, like, I don't need people to tell me that. I just figure it out. It's fucking insane.
Because why is it we have high-level people that seemingly are running cover for a criminal? And that is what she is. She is a monster and she is a criminal. So number one, we need answers on what happened with that transfer, why it took place. And honestly, we all need to stand together and say that Maxwell needs to go back to where the monsters go, which is to a higher level of security.
Thank you.
We also need to understand that Debbie Wasserman Schultz has legislation that she has been trying to push forward. And so in a bipartisan way, we all need to get behind Debbie, because we found and what we learned is that there were loopholes as it relates to the Crime Victims Act. And so we've got to make sure that no other victims suffer in the way that they did when you have somebody like Alex Acosta.
Good fucking call. You see that? I like that. Look, I'm a balanced person. That's why people, just so you guys know, I took a fucking political test for all you fucks that call me a centrist or fucking say, I'm waiting for you fuckers to be like, I'm an undercover conservative. Wait for somebody to fucking throw that shit out there. I took a fucking test, all right? That shit said I was fucking socially libertarian, but I'm a fucking lefty. I'm further left than Bernie. So you guys know, okay? But I am a balanced person. I've been a balanced person since I was a kid, and I've always said that, like, America has not progressed at the rate it needs to, but it has progressed. And I think that there is balance, and I do still legitimately hope that there's somebody fucking out there that's a conservative worth fucking talking to about some shit. Like, because you need sounding boards. You need somebody to talk to that has differing beliefs from you. That's why I like doing the show. That's why I do like pushback, even though I just yelled at you guys. I love the pushback from people, but you can't expect me not push back against your pushback. Yeah, like, I seriously hope when she says that Wasserman is putting forth a fucking a piece of legislation to close those loopholes, that's real, man. Give me some fucking hope, man. Make me feel like things are going to happen for this country. This fucking clown show in this administration has destroyed even the faith in America that a person like me has or had. I want to see somebody stand up. And I know that there's just so many people like that follow me that are going to be like, well, they're never going to stand up. They're all pieces of shit. I can't live a life like that. There's got to be hope that there's somebody that isn't, because if that's the truth, then we're talking different terms, guys. We're talking different outcomes. We're talking, I have kids. I want to believe that the future is something that they're going to be able to participate in and become successful human beings. I'm here to help make that change. To help make that change, I need some fucking hope.
Decides that he wants to play games and dismiss a case and never inform the victims of what's going on as is required by law. So we are going to have to fix those loopholes to make sure that doesn't happen, because it took them 10 years of fighting this. And ultimately, by the time they got to the end of it, well, it also was Jeffrey Epstein's end, and so there was not a resolution for that. And the final thing that I think that we need to do is, obviously, we need to continue to push forward and make sure that we get all the files, because we know 100%. That we have not received them all.
100%.
Because I am standing in front of the press, I'm also going to make a plea. One of the things that I realized was that there's a lot of stuff that the DOJ may have, but honestly, if you don't have a thorough investigation, and I can't say if we had a thorough investigation or not, we have no idea. But the reality is that when you have investigators that go out and they collect information. I am not necessarily convinced that they even have gone out and done their due diligence to fully investigate.
The only thing they've done to this point is go and talk to the fucking person who committed the crimes. And then they gave her a deal. As Dan just said, she's not going to talk now. She's got her deal. Like, the only hope that anybody on the left has, and even then it's not hope, is that Ghislaine Maxwell gets sent back to a maximum security prison, gets pissed off, and says something about Trump. Because you can't even trust that. Like, this is the mistake that people made when everybody, including Democrats in in Congress, wanted to subpoena and have Maxwell testify to Congress, right? Was that you knew she was never going to do something that that was going to be legit, right? She was always going to do it for her own reasoning, and she was only going to do it if it meant that she was going to get something from it. And I mean, even I probably made jokes at the least. I may have even said it seriously about the potential of Ghislaine flipping on Donald Trump. But that's, there is no real hope in that. You can't trust a person who did that to children. You can't trust a person who made that happen for her partner in that that crime. I was gonna say I don't know how to say it, but it's a crime. It's just a crime. You can't trust that. She did what she did because she's a fucking terrible human being. And the people that are protecting her are terrible human beings as well. And, at the end of the day, like, even if she came out and said some stuff about Trump, it'd be hard to believe because fucking she is who she is. I don't think that they don't want to speak to the victims. They don't want anything to do with talking to those victims. Those victims were right outside the White House. They don't want to speak to those victims. Because if they speak to those victims, then they're gonna have them in a conversation with victims where they're potentially going to have to own up to doing something about the situation, and they don't want to. They don't want to do anything about this situation. They want this situation, as they said, to die down and go away. That's all you need to know. If you can't draw the correct conclusions from that, I don't know what to tell you.
This case in the first place. So if there's anyone in the public that believes that you have information that would be valuable, you've never been able to get through to federal agencies, or no one would listen to you when you try to go forward and bring information forward. I am asking that you trust oversight DIMS and you bring that information to us. Or if you know where some information is contained, let us know so that we can then send subpoenas out that way. We want to do right not only by those that have already suffered under Epstein, but we want to prevent other trafficking rings that we know are out there. We want to make sure that we are doing right for future generations.
Good call. And this is what I'm saying. Like, we need more people like Jasmine Crockett. We need people that just speak plainly, that want to get things done. And here's the thing. Like, at no point am I ever saying to you guys that you should accept when people don't follow through with the things that they say. But we need to give people chances to do the things that we want them to before we decide that, that they're not doing it. First, we need people to be given a chance. And then we need to hold them accountable for those things. But no one's perfect. AOC, just recently, it was AOC didn't vote for this thing, so now you hate AOC. Okay. Jasmine Crockett didn't say this word, so you hate her now. Okay. When I had my interview with Adam Mockler a year and a half ago, where I interviewed Adam Mockler, I said, does your generation give you any hope? Like, is there anything that you could say to your generation that would make sense that you think could help them in this atmosphere? And this was before Biden had dropped out of the race. This was when Biden was still the president. And he said, if I were to say anything to my generation, I would say, stop trying to get the perfect candidate. There's no such thing. No human being's perfect. I'm going to say stuff you guys hate because I'm a human being and I'm fallible. I'm going to be incorrect about things. You know, like, people are fallible. And no one is perfect. You're not perfect. And if you think you are, you're crazy. No one is perfect. Every single person. And here's something that it's an Alan Watts speech. And if you don't know who Alan Watts is, I like Alan Watts. Once again, I don't agree with everything he says. I like Alan Watts. Somebody in the chat right now is like, Alan Watts abused his wife. I guarantee it. Alan Watts had this thing where he said, you like grow into, I'm going to say a person, but he said man. Grow into a person when you recognize that the world is based on dishonest, positive affirmation. And what that means is that, like, you say you agree with me when you don't. That's never what I'm asking for. It's never what I'm asking. I'm never asking for dishonest, positive affirmation. And you should never do that. But the other side of that coin is that you need to understand that human beings are fallible. There's no such thing as a perfect person. And Adam Mockler, what he said was, you have to vote for the person that brings you the closest to your goals. And you have to continue to push to get people that are closer and closer to your goals, because if you don't vote for the person that's the closest to your goals, then you actually end up further away from your goals than when you started. Take, for instance, Joe Biden. Joe Biden was not, by any means, in my opinion, a progressive president before he became the president in 2021. And when he became the president in 2021, he did things that were much more progressive than I ever thought he would do. Was he perfect? No. Was he the greatest president of all time? Probably not. But he did inch us closer to progressive goals. And there's a lot of progressive people right now going, fuck you, I'm going to unsubscribe. That's okay. I understand. I still wish you the best. I hope that you still have the same fundamental values as I do. And I hope that we will one day be able to work together to get this place to where it is, regardless of whether or not we are friends. Joe Biden moved us closer to progressive values. Kamala Harris, when she was put forth as the new candidate as Joe Biden dropped out, I said to myself, there's a lot of bad things being said about Kamala Harris. There's a lot of bad things that were said about her by Tulsi Gabbard during that debate. How progressive is Kamala Harris? And I looked into Kamala Harris, and I looked into all the stuff that people believed about her, and I debunked a lot of it. And I said to myself, Kamala Harris is probably going to inch us closer to the goals that I want to accomplish, taking care of other people. And so I voted for Kamala Harris. And there's a lot of people on the left that either chose not to vote, or chose to speak out and tell people not to vote, or chose to speak out and tell people not to vote for Kamala Harris. And what you got from that, what you got from not voting for Kamala Harris, is what we have today. You could have been one step closer to where you wanted to go, and Donald Trump didn't take you 2 steps back. Donald Trump jumped. He long jumped away from your goals. There's no way to look at that except for to say to yourself that this was a net negative. And if you're not saying that to yourself, if you're saying right now, like, Kamala would have been just as bad, if you're making up all these fucking excuses I see on the internet, you're coping. And I understand that, actually, because it's hard. It's hard to analyze. But on the other side of pain is glory. And when you finally fucking wake up and recognize, oh shit, man, I think I might have made a mistake, it frees you. It makes you feel good because you say to yourself, I feel like next time I can speak to that. I think next time I can make the right decision because I've learned from the mistakes I made. I'm not going to give you dishonest, positive affirmation just to stay your friend. That's not going to get us any closer to our goal. I'm going to tell you when I fuck up, and I'm going to tell you when you fuck up. So, hope you guys are here for that. Anyways, that's the end of the serious part of the show. I know there's somebody right now too like, Adam Mockler isn't even that good. Fucking didn't hear a word I said. We're all on the same team, motherfuckers. We all want the same things, except for like one or two. Like, we're literally off by like two things. And you're like, no, I'm not gonna be here. I'm not gonna fucking follow that person. They're like two things off from me. Okay. I'm glad you guys look at, like, there's still like 50 of you. I can't believe it. I thought by now we'd be down to 10. You guys are fucking brave souls to deal with me tonight. I'm in a special mood. This is what happens when serious shit happens. The clown gets all serious. Talk about what's going on in Venezuela. Fuck, dude. The serious part of the show is over. Talk about what's. Let's just talk about what's going on in Venezuela real quick, and then we'll get to the Jade Helm shit. How much time do I got left? I only got an hour. I've been up here ranting. There's not going to be any videos that I can make from this. You guys are gonna, and I'm not on tomorrow. Just so you guys know, I'm watching a football game tomorrow. I ain't doing this shit tomorrow. I am watching football tomorrow. Venezuela. What do you want to say? Donald Trump is the most anti-war president of all time, bro. I mean, what do you want to say? He fucking literally blew up a boat full of people and then was like, they were drug traffickers. Do you think you could get away with that? Dude, Obama, Bush, Clinton, whoever, they at least had fucking started the war and then started bombing people. Trump didn't even wait to start the war. He just started bombing people before. By the way, I don't support any of that shit. By the way. By the way. Yeah, Trump is literally fucking, he's trying to instigate a war, man. And, you know, I think he said it the other day in that fucking Zelensky clip where he was like, so it turns out if you start a war, you don't have to have elections. Maybe I'll start some wars. You know, like, it gets tedious, man, to talk about this stuff. It gets tedious because, you know, how many times do I have to say, look at how crazy this is. Look at how much against everything MAGA believes, supposedly. Like I've told you guys like a million times, said a million times, like I used to get emails, I used to get text messages, DMs, I'd get comments saying that Trump was none of these things, and like it just becomes this like just carousel of pointing out like how hypocritical all of this shit is fucking insane. So I guess that's the best way actually. I think this is the best way to segue into this video. Good job, He Hurts. Solid job. He Hurts is my hype man. So let's watch. Checking in on the Jade Helm conspiracy theorist 10 years later. I've never watched a video for this lady. Her name is Rebecca Watson. I am now subscribed on this channel. I'm liking the video. I have not watched this video, so we're going to find out. But it sounds exactly like I've been telling you guys lately. I was like, all of this like moving around to the National Guard and stuff. I was like, I remember my father-in-law literally freaking out and being like, Obama is trying to put the military in place so we can have a third term. This is martial law. They're going to put us in FEMA camps. You guys remember all that stuff, man. That was the Tea Party. It was the beginning of the Tea Party. They got to fight against this tyrannical government. By the way, if you look at where Obama lands on the fucking political chart, he's like barely on the left of center. By the way, that was their political authoritarian left candidate was right there on center left. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is literally as far on the right authoritarian fucking Republican as you possibly can be. Go look at the fucking charts. It's insane. Anyway, so I've been telling you guys about that lately, and I just wanted you guys to watch this video so you guys know exactly what I mean when I'm talking about these. A lot of these things you guys already remember, but we're going to watch it
remember the
anyways.
year 2015? It was only 10 years ago, but because CERN accidentally created a small black hole using the Large Hadron Collider in 2016, time dilation means that we have actually experienced 200 years in the previous decade. So it's understandable if you don't recall what happened that year. Allow me to remind you. In 2015, Game of Thrones was still good television, Twitter was still fun, and Barack Obama was still president. The good old days, right?
Was Twitter fun? I didn't get on Twitter until like 3 years ago, guys. I'm not a social media person. Was Twitter ever fun? You guys tell me. When Jack Dorsey owned Twitter, was it fun? You guys want to know how dumb I was 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago? I was like, dude, actually, if Elon buys it, it's actually probably going to be pretty good. Everything you guys thought about me was true. It's not true anymore. Everything you think about me now is not true, okay? Like, but 5 years ago, you would have been right on. I was like, I don't know, man. I think fucking Elon buying Twitter, that's actually good for free speech. Fuck me. This is why I'm up here. I'm doing my penance now. I'm up here now making up for all the stupid things that I thought.
For you, maybe, not for conservatives who were furious about all of that. Well, not Game of Thrones. I feel like that was a pretty bipartisan show. It was.
Oh, that's a good call. Is that what happened? Was that the tipping point? Was it like Game of Thrones when it ended so poorly? When it ended so poorly, was that it? Like that? Like people are like, you know what? Fuck this country. Is that what happened?
Mostly that they hated Barack Obama, less for his policies and more for the fact that he is a black man in a powerful position. Thus, when the Obama administration announced...
And if you don't believe that, read Joe Moore's book, where he was undercover with the FBI, and they contracted him to snipe Barack Obama. Yeah, that's what the KKK wanted to do. If you don't believe me, read Joe Moore's book, Broken Badges and White Robes. It's a really good fucking book. You should read it.
Announced that they would be launching a fairly substantial military training exercise to better prepare the nation's troops for maneuvering in and around civilian populations overseas. People like Alex Jones lost their fucking minds. Jade Helm 15 involved about 12...
Dude, that picture. Look at that picture. She picked like the best fucking picture. Warning, the door you're about to break down is locked for your protection. Who the fuck puts that on their front wall? My dude. Oh, look, I'm a gun owner. Okay, I own a gun. All right, I'm not against having protection for your home, but I'm gonna be honest with you guys. The percentage chance that you're going to use that gun to protect your home is very, very low. It's very low. Putting up a sign like that does not decrease. Like if someone comes to your house to break into your house and they see that sign, they're not like, well, you know, I was thinking about breaking into this house, but at the end of the day, you know, fuck it. I'm actually not going to. This video is what I needed after all that shit, guys. This video is what I needed.
1,200 special ops troops, mostly Green Berets, running exercises in low-population small towns around Texas, Arizona, Florida, New Mexico, Utah, and a few other states. Some troops played occupying forces, and others were insurgents. The entire exercise ran for 8 weeks over the summer of that year. Personally, I'm not a big fan of the military, the U.S. military especially, and I would be annoyed if they were coming to my town to LARP around in Hummers and hit each other.
And see, I'm pro-military as long as our military is used for defensive purposes. As long as our military is used for, you know, going around the world and helping to, you know, do the George Marshall thing and fucking spread, you know, democracy through things like USAID rather than going around and taking over people's countries and then pissing them off and making the world unstable. I am pro-military, and I actually see the good in certain things like running exercises to defend the country against insurgents. Like I generally do not have a problem with that kind of thing. Seduction says, I joined in 2009 and it was fun being able to chat with celebs, which was new. At that time, what happened on Twitter stayed on Twitter, so I was in shock the first time I saw Trump's tweets on the news. That's pretty surreal. That is actually pretty surreal. Nothing to do with Twitter back then. But I can see, like, how, like, talking to celebrities and shit like that, that was probably pretty trippy, pretty new. Yeah. And, you know, a lot of people, I mean, find that to be really engaging. I actually don't have a lot of iconicism. I'm not a person that, like, worships any individual human being. Probably my favorite human being to ever exist was maybe Einstein. And if Einstein asked me to, you know, do Jan 6 for him, I would not. I would not. I like Einstein, but I'm not a cult member.
With water balloon grenades or whatever. But that's about the extent of my emotions on the subject. Conservatives, however, went insane. They insisted that this was not a training operation at all, but rather a nefarious takeover of red states by Obama, who they said
that didn't go well.
Would institute martial law as soon as the troops were in place. Alex Jones insisted that Jade meant China because I guess China was going to take over too, and HELM was an acronym for Homeland Eradication of Local Militants.
I'm telling you, man, conspiracy theorists could have wrote, like, the best fucking books. They could, like, dude, the imagination... It's fucking off the charts. This is like one of those things where I'm like, somebody could have really changed the trajectory of this country if they would have just said to one of their fucking conspiracy friends, if Joe Rogan would have said to Alex Jones fucking 15 years ago, if he would have said 15 years ago instead of positive affirmations, dishonest positive no, his was probably honest, to be honest with you. If he would have said, Alex Jones, man, you could really write some good sci-fi, I think we would have had a different trajectory for this country. This is the type of shit I'm talking about. Homeland eradication of local militants. How long did it that we didn't have AI back then? How long did it take for him to come up with that shit?
Texas Governor Greg Abbott announced that the conspiracy theorists were right to worry, and thus he ordered the Texas State Guard to closely monitor Jade Helm activities so that Texans know their safety constitutional rights.
Here we go with the military again. Military watching the military. That's definitely not waste. The military watching the military, guys. Oh, fuck me. I guess it's the Texas State Guard isn't military, but still, you know what I'm saying. Come on, man. How performative is that shit?
Private property rights and civil liberties will not be infringed. Stuart Rhodes, founder of the far-right militia Oath Keepers, said that the operation was designed to weed out politicians.
By the way, pardoned by Donald Trump.
And military members who would refuse unconstitutional orders to use military force against U.S. civilians. A violent extremist and former Marine named Pete Lanteri started a group called Counter Jade Helm that organized militias to identify...
Okay. He definitely don't ask that guy to write sci-fi books. Counter Jade Helm, bro? That's the name you came up for your group? Come on, bro. Counter Jade Helm? That's like if you fucking started a football team and you're like, counter Dallas Cowboys.
Follow and potentially fight troops. 3 men were arrested before they could enact a plot to trap and murder soldiers in South Carolina. The far-right blog Before Its News started a popular rumor that the takeover involved the Obama administration.
I'm going to admit I did not take these people seriously enough back then. I didn't take them seriously enough, guys. We made mistakes.
Taking over old Walmarts, building military bases underneath them, and connecting them all via a vast network of tunnels. And most importantly,
Hold on. We gotta go back. You guys are gonna like this joke, all right? I'm just gonna tell you this before I make this joke, and half of you are gonna unsub because of this shit, all right? Okay, so fucking Israel's bombing hospitals, claiming Hamas was underneath them, okay? But we were going to be bombing Walmarts, all right? Because there was legit going to be militants underneath them. Unsubscribe now. It's okay. I understand. Fucking go. Just go. Don't yell at me on the way out the door. Don't fucking tell me how much you didn't like that joke. Just go ahead and go. Take your shit and leave. Can you see that shit on the fucking news? People were like, they bombed Walmart, you fucking pieces of shit. And like, there was militants underneath there. Sure there was. All right, I'm done. I've lost at least half my subscriber base tonight.
Underneath them and connecting them all via a vast network of tunnels. And most importantly, famous fighting man Chuck Norris weighed in with a fiery editorial on World Nut Daily, decrying the...
Bro, what? That's made up. Did she say World Nut Daily? What are we doing? Fuck. Oh, God, this is so my fault, guys. I should have had a YouTube channel like 20 years ago. I'm sorry. I'm just going to apologize right now. I'm fucking sorry. The more I watch this shit, I'm like, I should have been doing something. I was smoking weed and listening to Joe Rogan. Guys, I'm sorry. Fuck me.
Man Chuck Norris weighed in with a fiery editorial on World Nut Daily, decrying the operation as both sad and bad. When Jade Helm ended at the end of August 2015, of course, nothing happened. The special ops guys went back to their military bases, and the conspiracy theorists found newer, shinier conspiracies to dream about. But I remember, as do many of the people who study the seeming hypocrisy of these far-right lunatics, because we are currently, right now, in the year 2025, seeing the President of the United States invade cities with the U.S. military, 100%. Ordering them to use force against civilians. Trump started by sending the National Guard and then 700 Marines into Los Angeles a few months back, ostensibly to augment and support the protection of federal functions and property, whatever the fuck that means. He got relatively little pushback on the national stage, despite California Governor...
Bro, if Obama had soldiers walking around picking up trash outside of people's houses... MAGA Republicans would have never left their house. They would have been like, they are here to get us. And these fucking people are like, let's put them in all the cities. You've actually got to give it to Trump. You've got to give him some credit for this one, man. Like, he convinced these people to let them have fucking soldiers walking up and down the street. The thing that they are, like, the most fucking scared of. Like, these people created militant groups that live in the forest to, like literally be ready for government takeovers. Like, this was their whole spiel. Their whole thing was built, like, their life, their personality, their fucking hero's journey. It was all built around, like, being ready for a government takeover. And Donald Trump is doing that shit, and they're like, actually, it's kind of good. Like, you actually have to give him credit for that. That's a weird fucking... That's fucking strange.
Gavin Newsom suing over this obviously unconstitutional order. So Trump escalated recently by declaring a crime emergency in Washington, D.C., and using that as the impetus to mobilize the National Guard there and taking over the city's police force, an act that has never happened before in U.S. history because it is so wildly unconstitutional and fascistic. Also, not for nothing, but violent crime in D.C. is down 26% from last year, which was down 35% from the previous year. Overall, crime has actually increased, but that's only if you include one specific address in D.C. that has a much higher than average output of criminal behavior. An address on Pennsylvania Avenue. I'm talking about the White House. Everybody else already made that joke. But if I didn't do it here, then that's the only thing that would appear in the comments. And I just want to encourage you guys to mix it up down there. Come up with something fresh. So,
good call.
This is the thing. This is the exact thing the Jade Helm 15 conspiracy theorists warned us about. But where are they? I decided to look. As far as I can tell, Governor Abbott has yet to comment on Trump's invasion of D.C. because he's too busy whining about Texas Democrats trying to stop him from destroying democracy in Texas by gerrymandering the last few blue districts. The Oath Keeper's Stuart Rhodes has been similarly quiet, though it seems like he's been laying low ever since Trump pardoned him this year from his 18-year sentence for sedition thanks to the insurrection he helped plan and enact on January 6th of 2021. Pete Lanteri of Counter Jade Helm helm, opened a gun range with a Facebook page where he liked to post about murdering communists, but he's been silent too ever since Trump's inauguration. Chuck Norris has also been silent on the issue and most other issues, but he is still alive, and he does have a cameo, so feel free to ask him about it if you want to drop... Holy shit, $450? No thanks. Before It's News deleted their 2015 article about the Jade Helm underground military Walmart tunnels. I was intrigued by one of their latest posts titled Trump's Military Executing Largest Military Op in History. It's a brutally boring 2.5-hour long live stream where three men start talking about Trump suggesting once again that he wants to suspend elections from now on in his appearance with Zelensky. I had to watch for way too long to confirm that, yeah, they actually do think that Trump is planning to become a dictator. They do understand that it's unconstitutional for him to be doing many of the things he's doing. They do think he's mobilizing the U.S. military to get his way, but they love it. They're super happy about it, actually.
It's fucking mind-boggling. There's a video right now of Curtis Yarvin and three of his bros where they openly talk about destroying the American system. They talk about gang members in Maryland being forced to get any type of stability, like pay checks, stuff like that, from a preacher, and that everything that they do has to go through a religious leader who would control all of the work they do, whether or not they get paid for it, whether or not they get food for it. Yet they meant slaves. That's Curtis Yarvin talked about making people slaves on a podcast, and mostly people just chuckled. And yeah, we're here. So when I tell you guys that the left needs to stop fighting with the left, is what I'm talking about. Like, you guys can totally go back to like fucking fighting with each other after this shit. I'm just like literally begging you. I'm not saying that you have to agree with anybody. Like, you don't have to agree with fucking whatever current content creator you hate the most. That's completely acceptable. I'm just saying, for now, can we just like please fucking just look at the other side and what they're doing before they put me in prison and then make me the slave of some fucking religious leader, because we know what religious leaders do to young men. And I am not a young man anymore, but I'm scared. Fucking please help.
On the front page of InfoWars, I once again got a little optimistic to see a video in which Alex Jones says he's 100% vindicated by recent events. But it turns out that that's just about how Russia was right to invade Ukraine or something. But while my search was unable to turn up anything on Alex Jones, condemning Trump's takeover of DC, I did happen upon one right-wing conspiracy theorist who actually is concerned. A comedian named Tim Dillon, who I never heard of before, but he's previously yucked it.
Tim Dillon, occasionally based. Just going to say it, so that way more people unsubscribe. Tim Dillon, occasionally based. Still a fucking moron. Still a Trump dick writer. But he hops off it every once in a while. Every once in a while he's like, that's painful. So, yeah. Dillon has actually been kind of like, this is sus. Yeah, I'm just going to point out when people say shit that is true. And you guys are going to hate me for that. But I'm going to continue to do it because I'm still going to point to things that people say that are true. That way other people can see them, because that's my fucking job.
It up with J.D. Vance, so he's got quite an audience. And here's what he had to say recently.
They already have all your information in D.C., and now they just get to decide what is and isn't over the line. That should scare everybody. You're fucking nuts, dude. If this doesn't scare you, you're nuts. All of these things that Alex Jones, and I've had Alex on, I like Alex, but all these things that Alex Jones was like worried about when I listened to him in the late 90s, early 2000s are coming to fruition. And he, I don't know where he is on all of that stuff. But
yeah, just say it, Tim. Just fucking say it. He's supporting it. He just fired a dude for being too anti-Trump. He supports it.
Like, I know he's a big fan of Trump, but like, this is everything Alex Jones always talked about. Military in the street, the FEMA camp, the tech company that monitors everything, the surveillance. This is
all of
that. I mean, not to sound like a
all of
fucking nut. This is
LMC. He's entertaining, but he doesn't know politics. I don't think he's ever read a book in his life. LMC, that is spot fucking on.
Everything a crackhead. And I don't even mean a crackhead like crack, but a guy smoking weed in a room with a fucking black light and a fucking, insane clown posse tattoo on his arm. I'm thinking of a very specific guy I was friends with. But this is everything that guy would have talked about. He'd be like,
100%. Bro, did you know that in fucking 67, did you know that the government was fucking passing around this weed, bro? That was fucking just like, it was controlling people's mind, bro. There's a bunch of fucking killings. Never made the news, bro. Never made the news. Government was trying to control people's minds by using weed, bro.
like, bro, there's going to be military in the street. They're going to put you in jail for your fucking thoughts, man. If you just say them, bro, you're going to be in fucking jail. There's going to be a fucking company that monitors everything you do, bro. Like, this is literally the wet dream of every conspiracy theorist that has ever lived, and it's happening now.
Holy shit, we found one. A right-wing podcast bro comedian who is so close to getting it that it's stuck on his shoe and he's wondering what that smell is. This is incredible. Tim, let me help you out. The reason why Alex Jones is so quiet about this now is because Alex Jones was never actually worried about the U.S. federal government becoming a dictatorship and crushing the rights and freedoms granted by the Constitution. Alex Jones was worried about Jews and black people and immigrants and women and LGBTQ people holding positions of power and obtaining equality. That's why he wouldn't shut up about government overreach when Barack Obama was in office. And that is why he's happy that Donald Trump is in office. That is why he is a fan of the guy who is currently taking over cities with the military. I truly think that the Epstein stuff has driven that first little wedge between conspiracy theorists and Donald Trump. So let's hope more of them wake the fuck up and realize they are living through Jade Helm 25 before it's too late.
I think they already know. I just don't think they care, to be honest with you. I push back so fucking hard against people when people would say things like, like, this is all, white supremacy, like, all these things. I'd push back hard because I'd say, like, we shouldn't be hyperbolic. Like we should 100% always remember to not become the thing that we hate, right? Like, we should give credit where credit is due. We should assume when people show us that they're not horrifically bad people, that they generally have good intentions. But then when you see stuff like this with Alex Jones, where it's like, as long as it's not Jews, as long as it's not black people, as long as it's not Chinese people or any of these other things that we're xenophobic about, and I say we in the royal sense, I mean Republicans, that it's acceptable, you have to say that that has something to do with the idea of as long as it's white, it's right. And you can say, well, he's not a card-carrying Ku Klux Klan member, but it kind of means the same thing. And, like, these are the things where I think this is important, because oftentimes you guys push back against things that I might give a little too much good faith on. And a lot of times you guys are correct. And so I have to recognize that. I want things to be better. I want people to be better. And, I think that when we see things for what they are, that's when it's important to call them out. But obviously I should have been aboard 10 years ago with a lot of that shit. Because I didn't take people like Alex Jones seriously. I didn't take people like Rogan seriously. I didn't think that the government was really set up in a way that it could fail this spectacularly. I grew up with Ku Klux Klan people. I grew up with skinheads. I grew up with Nazi lowriders. I saw life in some like the worst ways that you could possibly see it. And I think in some ways that made me feel as though like somewhere out there outside of the places that I lived in and I grew up in, that there was some form of sanity. And unfortunately, I'm learning more and more every day that sanity is a trait that is slowly becoming about as rare as common sense. And that's why I continue to push you guys, because you guys pushed me to be sane about this, to have critical thinking about this, to continue to look at the things that are happening, accept that they are fucking crazy, but not to let it push you in the same direction, and to keep a head on straight. Because when it comes down to it, when it's time to do something about things that are difficult to deal with, that are hard to quantify, hard to make right with yourself, it's very important to remember that you have to have your head on straight to deal with this. You can't become what they are. It's very important. So we've got a couple more videos to watch. Religion. That's another one, Jamie. That's a good point, Jamie. That's actually, see, that's what I'm saying. And this is why I say we have to fucking be willing to listen to each other. Jamie just proves the point right there. It's partially white supremacy for some people, but mostly it's religious. Religious people are trying to take over. That I think that's part of it. I don't know if it's mostly, percentage-wise, we get into the weeds, and I think that's where the left starts fighting with the left so often. And I'm not fighting with Jamie over this. I'm just using this as an example. Is there's so many people that on the left are like, no, it's not religion, it's white supremacy, because that's what they chose as their boogeyman. Or the other person says it's not white supremacy, it's religion. Or somebody, that just particularly hates Donald Trump the most says it's not either one of those, it's just Donald Trump, This is where we have to agree that any of us could be correct about this, but as long as we have the same goal in mind, we should stay on the same page and not fight with each other. We should move forward and continue to do the things that we need to do to stop it from happening, rather than getting bogged down and fighting with each other. I'm going to continue to harp on this for the rest of the show, just so everybody knows this. We have a couple Democrats winning. We have a couple of Democrats winning in Florida, and that was really cool. And we're seeing this, and this is why I'm saying this, man. This is why I'm saying now is not the time to start taking things out on each other. Like, you don't have to love anybody. I'm not telling you that. But Democrats are winning in these like places that they really have never won in before. I think it was Michael Steele, the guy on CNN, said before the election in 2024, he might have said it in 2023, they're having this kind of like round table with other Democrats, and they're kind of like yucking it up and having a good time. They're saying how cool it was that like the right-wing Republicans were eating each other, and like, man, there's no way like a Democrat's going to lose in 2025. And Michael Steele, actually, I think his name is Michael Steele. I could be fucking that up. But he said, he goes, I'm really afraid that Democrats are going to do what they do, and they're going to snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory. And when he said that, I was like, fuck. I was like, that is definitely possible. And if you don't believe me, you can go back. I've mentioned this multiple times before the election, that could happen. I even said, like, people called me out. People on the left got really mad at me because I said it was 50-50. I was like, this is a toss-up. If we don't go hard, we're going to lose. And people were like, stop saying that. Like, you're putting, like, the negative energy out there. And I'm like, I'm telling you the truth. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm not going to give you dishonest, positive affirmation. Now's the time. There are Democrats winning in special elections that they shouldn't be winning. And we need to not just get excited about that. We need to take advantage of it. So let's watch this video. It's Kyle Kulinski talking about MAGA collapsing with them blowout win in special election. Whoops. Am I pushing the right button? No. Nope. Wrong button.
The other day on the show, we talked about how Democrats are winning these special elections in surprising places. So there was an Iowa State Senate seat where Democrats picked up a seat. They ended the GOP supermajority. So this is from recently. National Democrats are celebrating the results of a special election for the Iowa State Senate after Democrat Caitlin Dray won in a district President Donald Trump carried by 11 points in 2024 to break a Republican supermajority of the chamber.
Iowa.
Trump carried it by 11 points. Then she ended up winning.
Iowa, whether you guys will believe this or not, one of the most literate states in America. Also a huge Dutch population, I think.
55 to 44. So she won by 11 points. So that is a colossal swing against the Republicans.
Huge.
And we're seeing this across the country in these special elections. Well, guess what? We got a new one for you. Democrats just massively outperformed in 2 Florida special elections. In House District 40, Kamala Harris carried the district by 35 points in 2020. Tonight, the Democrat Rashawn Young crushed the Republican by 50 points, a 15-point swing toward Democrats. And in Senate District 15, Harris carried the district by 23 points. Democrat LaVon Bracey just won by 45 points, a stunning 22-point overperformance. It's happening, y'all. It's happening. And here's the thing. This is happening solely because the Republicans are hanging themselves. Solely because they're fucking horrible at governing and they destroy everything they touch. That is the only reason. Because here's the reality.
I believe that's a drink.
If we had the Republicans being as evil and gross as they are right now, and you had a Democratic Party that was ruthlessly fighting, I don't even think you'd just see a 22-point...
Yeah, no, and that's a great pause on my part. I'm going to leave it there for a second while I talk. Take that, Kyle! This is how I go in on other content streamers. I freeze their faces in the worst possible moment. Take that. He's got a great point he's making there, and that is that right now the Democratic Party is not doing a good job, and yet we're winning these races. And that's why I put so much emphasis on you guys. We are the people that are going to pull this together. It's not this party. The Democratic Party is not doing the greatest job. I give 100% credit to the few people that are doing what they're doing. I appreciate those people so much. But there's a lot of people in the Democratic Party that are not doing a very good job, to be honest. And, you know, I think that they're pulling the wait and see bullshit. I think that they're completely out of touch with the youth. I think they don't know how to use technology because they're all older and shit. I was really happy to see Jerry Nadler or whatever his name was saying that he's gonna make way for young people. I saw that person in Texas saying that he was gonna make way for young people. Get young people through the door. The Democratic Party needs people that know how to use the internet, how to use social media, how to speak to young people. This party's out of touch. He's making a great point that even with that all being said, they're winning. Imagine if the Democratic Party was doing a good job right now, how much better these candidates would be doing even.
2-point overperformance. I think you'd see a 40-point overperformance. I think we'd be looking at prime FDR type numbers. I think we'd be looking at 80% of the House, 80% of the Senate, because right now, people are done. They are done with it. They're done with the inflation. They're done with the unemployment. They're done with the trade war. They're done with their coffee costing double as much as it cost fucking 2 years ago or whatever.
Grocery prices. Milk just went up 10%. Beef has went up and continues to go up. Let's see. What else? Produce just went up 39%. Costs across the store are going up. Like, things are getting more expensive, and I'm actually working on a current video, and I do want to make this video super bad. I just don't have time for it currently. But this is all part of Stephen Moran's plan. If you don't know who Stephen Moran is in the Trump administration. Stephen Moran is the person that he wants to replace Jerome Powell with next May when Powell's term is up as the head of the Fed. So Stephen Moran has a white paper that he wrote. And Donald Trump really likes that, talked about Trump's tariffs and stuff like that. And when Trump said this is going to be painful, that is a direct quote from Stephen Moran's paper where he said they have a very, very narrow path to go down to enforce these tariffs, and that there is going to be quite a bit of pain. When they say quite a bit of pain, they don't mean for them. They mean for me and you. So the video I'm making is in an attempt to explain how PCE, CPI, PPI, the inflation percentage, unemployment rate, housing conditions, contraction of industry, all of those things relate to how Stephen Moran is attempting to thread this needle with his plan, and how that could possibly lead to a recession, which will mostly affect me and you, and most likely it's going to be a stagflation, but there's also a chance of stagflation with recession. I don't believe that there's a good chance of depression. I think that would take like a huge thing like AI, the stock market that is like pretty much bubbling because of AI crashing. But how painful this is about to be.
They are done with all of this shit. They're done with the bombings that happen day after day. They're done with the ICE Gestapo thugs rounding up their neighbors and destroying their lives. They're done with all of it. So imagine that with a Democratic Party that is out there and attacking the Republicans day after day, but also saying, we're going to give you Medicare for all, we're going to give you free college, we're going to give you a living wage, we're going to give you the right to a union, we're going to do Social Security for all, we're going to do a 4-day work week, we're going to get paid vacation time by law, fill in the blank, we're going to raise taxes on the wealthy, redistribute to working people. Like, we'd be unstoppable. Democrats would be unstoppable in that scenario. So, but that's the scary part of this too, right? Is that if just the sit back and let the Republicans hang themselves strategy works this well, it makes you feel like Democrats are not going to learn the proper lesson, and they're just going to let the Republicans hang themselves and win by default, as opposed to don't just win by default, crush them, as Cenk Uygur used to say, break their back and drink their spinal fluid, right? Like absolutely obliterate them. Let them hang themselves, but then also you need to fight on everything, and also you need to stand for a bold agenda that would help working people, right? So, got to do those things. I just hope they don't, no more Hakeem Jeffries bullshit or Chuck Schumer bullshit.
Oh, Kyle, you don't want another sweet-ass picture of fucking Hakeem Jeffries with a baseball bat, dog? You don't think that was working, bro? Like, this is where we do need that criticism. We need to turn our eyes to the people that matter. We need to look at the people that are not choosing to do the things that they should be doing, the people that got voted into their positions by us to make these things happen. Because I really do feel like Democrats are just playing the like, well, we could just sit back and let them dig themselves their own hole and then eventually we'll win. But when you look at Democratic polling numbers, that is not what people are doing. People are electing these people because they're doing it out of fear of their own salvation. Like, people are electing these people not because they're happy with Democrats. They're electing these people because they're very angry with Republicans, and that really says something about the society. I'm not a person that gets into all this, like, let's have all these different parties or create new parties or whatever it is, because I really just don't think parties are really helpful. I think that parties are actually harmful. I think that people look at like values within a party and then say, if you don't have one of these values, you're not a part of this. That's called virtue mirroring. Just fucking talk to a guy about all this, a buddy of mine at work. And I'm going to try to learn more about that subject, but about the idea that everybody around me must have the same virtues as me exactly, or you don't get to be a part of it. And that is what political parties do. If you're here because you agree with me fundamentally, you don't need to know what party I'm in. I don't know what most of you guys are. I don't know if you're socialist. I don't know if you're communist. I don't know if you're a Democrat. I don't know if you're a liberal. I don't know if you're a progressive. And the very fact that I have to say this many different fucking parties should just show you exactly how fucking nuts all of this is. It should just be that I agree with your fundamental values and you agree with mine and we don't agree on everything, and that's okay. But you know who doesn't get to do that? Hakeem Jeffries. Because you're not doing anything. Like, if I disagree with the majority of the shit that you're doing, then we are not going to be able to be friends. And currently, I can't be friends with Hakeem Jeffries because sitting back and waiting and taking pictures of yourself with fucking baseball bats is not what I think we should be doing. So, just, we need to be better. We need to be better. Democrats need to be better. The party needs to be better. And we need to do something more than just sit and wait for this shit to happen.
We need more Jasmine Crockett, Maxwell Frost, Al Green, Bernie Sanders, AOC. We need more of that mindset. The Tim Walz, the fight mindset, that we're going to be in your face. Even in terms of how he's posting, the Newsom mindset. Newsom's not as good on policy, but when it comes to posting, he's phenomenal. That's what we need. And that would get us where we need to go, to say the least. So I think this is going to keep happening. I think the special elections are going to keep rolling in like this. I don't think it's going to stop. If anything, I think it's going to get more prominent as time goes by, because Trump cannot stop fucking up absolutely everything. All right, y'all. That's the show. I love you all very much. You guys know the deal. Everybody do me a big favor. Subscribe to the channel. That helps out big time and costs you nothing. That's just below me here. You could also support the show on Patreon. That makes a big difference because we're true independent media, unlike many outlets in this space. You could...
All right. So we've got a lot of work to do, man. And like getting happy about these things is very important. But what I said about Michael Still is still relevant to what I'm talking about now. You can't just look at these things and be like, cool, we got it. This one's in the bag. It's not that. Nope. We need to do something. We need to start with the primaries. And we need to get people into office that we believe represent our values. Like a lot of people are pointing towards Zohran Mamdani as being a really like progressive candidate and having some great progressive ideas. I think that's a great start. I know that Katie is running in California to be the governor. I will be voting for Katie 100%. I like Katie's policies. I like Katie's fight. I think that, if you disagree with a lot of what she talks about, we can have that debate. We can have that conversation, actually. Stop debating and have conversations. Let's have conversations. Let's stop debating. Let's have conversations. Let's have a solution in mind. Let's work towards actually doing something and not just getting clicks and views by yelling at each other on a YouTube channel. But that's who I'm voting for in California for governor, because I think Katie's fucking amazing. I think that starts there. And then, start pressuring these Democrats that are old to get the fuck out of office. Start showing these Democrats that don't do the things that they claim they would do or that you assumed they would do when they got into office. Start pressuring them by primarying them at the fucking time that comes around. Let's do it. Like, that's what we have to do. You have to do what MAGA conservatives have done to Republicans. And that is, MAGA conservatives said to Republicans, we want to get a president in the office, and we want you guys to get the fuck out of his way, and we want you to let him do whatever he wants to these liberals to make them cry. And they literally bullied their fucking Congress people into getting that done. And we need to do the same thing. We need to bully the elected officials into doing the shit that they promised to do. But the only way that we can do that is through solidarity amongst ourselves. We cannot make these fucking elected officials do what we want them to do unless we come with a solidarity that says to them, if you fuck with one of us, you fuck with all of us. And we need good leaders. We need people to speak up, and we need less infighting. Or we're cooked. I think we got one more video. Let's watch it. Okay. Let's just, okay. All right. It's proper to end with this video, and I'll not talk too much because we only got about 20 minutes left. But this is the IHIP ladies, who I think are a fucking wonderful representation of what I like about this current, and literally the other day I said IHIP ladies, and somebody was like, they used to be conservative, and I'm like, fuck me. I don't care if fucking pumps used to, I know that pumps used to be conservative. Holy fuck. Can we just find any reason to just fucking knife ourselves? She's doing a great job now, and I fucking love it, to be honest with you. So let's fit in the show with IHIP news. talking about Trump and Fox News desperate to shut up the Epstein victims. I think it's the perfect way to end this show. So let's watch the IHIP ladies do their goddamn thing.
The survivors of Jeffrey Epstein have finally been given a platform to speak, where they called out the Republican Party to vote for releasing the documents. Of course, we only had 4 Republicans do it. But let's hear from the Epstein victim, one of the survivors, specifically about Donald Trump and his relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein.
My first trip to the Palm Beach residence,
This lady, like I said, we're at the end of the show. It's been almost 2.5 hours of me being up here, and I started with these videos of these women. I appreciate you guys for all sticking it out. These videos are so emotional.
drove there from the airport with Ghislaine Maxwell, and Jeffrey and Ghislaine were always very boastful about their friends, their famous or powerful friends, and his biggest brag forever was that he was very good friends with Donald Trump. He had an 8x10 framed picture of him on his desk with the two of them. They were very close.
Okay, so I don't think that's all there is to it. I think there's more coming, but I appreciate that this woman got up there and said Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were friends with him, because Ghislaine Maxwell is currently the beneficiary of the Department of Justice's grace. So I just want to applaud the survivors for standing up and taking 100%. All of this heat. And I know how traumatic, I don't know how traumatic it is, but it has to be extremely traumatic.
That's actually very good of her to say that. And it's not necessary actually for her to make that correction, because we know from her intentions, we know from what she spoke about that she understands, and this is important. This is important that we make sure that we understand that as well. But as I said earlier, every person needs to remember, every one of these women had dreams. Every one of them had dreams since little girls to be models, to be actresses, to have careers in these different areas that Jeffrey Epstein exploited them for. And here we are 20, 30 years later for some of these ladies, and they still haven't gotten justice. The courage to stand up and give speeches to hope to bring people that have harmed children to justice, like that courage, like they are legit right now putting their very well-being at risk. Donald Trump has gone after political adversaries. Donald Trump has gone after reporters. Donald Trump is attempting to overturn every fucking lawsuit or conviction, all while in office. If you don't think that these women are brave for what they're doing, I really seriously wonder what you think brave is, because Donald Trump is the most powerful person in America, and a lot of these people that are in those files, don't forget about, like, Donald Trump. Don't just think about him. There's a lot of other people in those files that are also in powerful positions throughout this country that also could make these women's lives hell. Like, that is fucking so much courage.
So I am happy to see that they did have an opportunity to speak despite the Republicans ignoring it.
You know, what's interesting about Ghislaine Maxwell is she was asked in this, where she totally gives the Trump administration, the DOJ, exactly what they want.
Of course,
so that she can get transferred to a different prison. But they asked her, do you think Jeffrey Epstein killed himself? And she said, no, I don't. You know who else said that? Hunter Biden. Like, nobody thinks that Jeffrey Epstein credibly killed himself. I mean, and then when you see like the layout of the cell
100%.
And all of that, and then if you dig deeper in it, you can see why so many MAGA people went down this conspiracy theory. They just thought, I don't know if they thought Biden was in charge at the time, if the timeline's blurry to them, but it was Bill Barr and Donald Trump's DOJ that was in charge of Jeffrey Epstein during the time of his incarceration.
Wasn't it like Bill O'Reilly that was like saying, well, no, it happened under Biden, and the dude was like, no, actually, did happen under Trump. It was like a Republican he was talking to, and Bill O'Reilly was like, no, like it happened under Biden. He's like, no, actually it didn't.
And Ghislaine Maxwell doesn't think he killed himself. And have you seen the video of like how he would have had to have hung himself?
Yeah, it would like jumped or something. Like he could have stood on his feet and it would have made him upright, right? I mean, he couldn't have hung himself. It was
just
short.
seemed like impossible.
Well, here's the thing. Do I think the president of the United States is capable of criminal behavior to cover his own ass? Absolutely. Do I think that's limited? Is he limited?
Bro, he was convicted of it 34 times.
By principles? Fuck no. I think he would do whatever it took to cover his own ass. Look what he's doing now. So then in front of all the victims, Representative Thomas Massie again addresses Donald Trump, calling the Epstein survivors' situation a hoax.
I think it's shameful that this has been called a hoax. Hopefully today we can clear that up. This is not a hoax. This is real. There are real survivors. There are real victims to this criminal enterprise. And the perpetrators are being protected because they're rich and powerful and political donors to the establishment here in Washington, D.C.
Give credit where credit is due. Good job, dude. Good job. Get up there. Stand up there. Where are the people that I want to be up there? You know, like that's the question. And I know not everybody could be there, but good job on his part for standing up and saying those words.
Okay, and then I just want to go straight into the next clip. This was Donald Trump. After this press conference concluded, this is what he had to say.
So this is a Democrat hoax that never ends. You know, it reminds me a little of the Kennedy situation. We gave him everything over and over again, more and more and more, and nobody's ever satisfied.
Is he's comparing the JFK Jr. assassination to the Epstein files? Like, that alone should fucking drive conspiracy theorists through the fucking roof. He's like literally saying to his own base, they're not just nuts, but they're double nuts. Like, he's like he knows that all of his fucking base, myself included, I'm not part of his base, but I also believe the JFK Jr. shit is sus. He knows that, right? Like, he just doubled down on not only are the fucking Epstein shit a hoax, but also you JFK Jr. people, you guys are also fucking psychos. That's your people!
From what I understand, I could check, but from what I understand, thousands of pages of documents have been given. But it's really...
Bro. Yeah, how many weren't given? That's the fucking question, is how many weren't given?
Really a Democrat hoax, because they're trying to get people to talk about something that's totally irrelevant to the success that we've had as a nation since I've been president.
Bro, I've got bad news for you. We have not been successful.
There are some brass balls on that man. Those women stood there in front of the Capitol and talked about how they were sexually abused and trafficked, and he calls it a hoax that's irrelevant.
It's beyond that. It's beyond what those girls said. He knows, because Jeffrey Epstein was one of his best friends. Jeffrey Epstein has given hours upon hours of interviews with, I can't remember his first name.
Michael Wolff.
Michael Wolff, yep. And not to mention, Jeffrey Epstein's butler recently came out and said that Epstein was offered a place in Trump's administration in Trump's last term in 2017 or whatever. That here's a guy who worked with Jeffrey Epstein for 18 years that dropped Ghislaine Maxwell off at Mar-a-Lago multiple times, that saw Trump coming and going, saying, like, A, Epstein did not take his own life, and B, Donald Trump wanted Epstein to work in his administration in his first term, and that Epstein declined. It's fucking insane.
Michael Wolff. And he knew the ins and outs of the Oval Office and the pecking order and how you had to treat the president and the layout of
Sarah, if you don't know that, I have a video on it. Don't remember if it's on this channel or the Angry Ginger Live Clips channel. But yeah, you probably could just search Epstein Butler and probably... I don't know if anybody else ever made videos about that. I wonder if anybody else ever made a video about that. I don't know. I'm a tiny-ass channel. Nobody cares.
but during Trump 1.0, this whole birthday booklet, Donald Trump wrote to him about, the secrets and enigma. On tape, he says, Jeffrey Epstein's a good friend of mine, but yes, he liked them a little young. Predating the indictment and the incarceration and the death of Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump has been inside the Death Star. So it's beyond just having brass balls about what's happening currently. He's known about this for decades.
Have you guys seen that video of that old lady? And it's a conservative reporter, if I remember right, asking this old lady that lives next door to Jeffrey Epstein. He was like, how long have you been here? And she's like, forever. Like, I don't know. I think she says like 27 years or something like that. And he's like, did you ever notice anybody coming into Jeffrey Epstein's house? And she's like, yeah, all the time. This is where I walk. I walk home from here. And he's like, he starts off by being like the Clintons. And she's like, yeah. And he's like, Prince Andrew, maybe? She's like, yeah. And he's like, who else has been in here? She's like, everybody that they've talked about in the news. I've seen them all. He goes, Trump? And she goes, yeah, all of them. And he's like, well, how did you know like that was them? And she goes, they don't travel by themselves. She's like, everywhere they go, it's a spectacle. There's, fucking bodyguards, Secret Service people. She's like, they don't, travel incognito. All these people fucking roll up here and walk inside. It's like, none of this is, the only people out there that this is not confirmed for are cult members. That's it. And conservatives that want so badly to find out that if Trump's name is in the files, that he's actually not connected in any way to anything that happened, just that he knew Jeffrey Epstein. That's the only people that don't believe this shit.
Donald Trump has had a front row bird's eye view.
Oh, did she offer Andrew?
To the most,
okay, thank you.
One of the worst child sex traffickers and rapists that this country has ever seen. And he is, if you go and look at Jeffrey Epstein's apartment, the connections that this man has, it's staggering and jaw-dropping. And it seems to me, the more you learn about this, the more brazen his behavior was.
Right. Yeah, it absolutely was. And we have these victims saying, if the United States government doesn't release the files, we will get together and we will do lists and we will name people, because Donald Trump and his administration are covering for these people. And one thing I thought was super important, look at how the news coverage was of these survivors speaking in front of the Capitol. Here we have every major network is carrying the Epstein victims press conference except for Fox News. You see C-SPAN.
That's fucking insane. That's fucking insane.
MSNBC, Scripps, CNN, ABC News, and then you have Fox News has the Polish president relationship with Trump in U.S. That's the picture. That's really a show and tell. That tells you exactly what they care about.
Well, and you have the leader of Fox News, Rupert Murdoch, who also owns the Wall Street Journal. And you see conflicting narratives coming out of two of his crown jewel media empires. The editorial page in the Wall Street Journal is a little bit more reasoned, a little bit more attached to reality, and traffics less in conspiracy theories. And is starting to, Wall Street Journal editorial board is way too conservative for me. But at least they're calling out the erratic tariff policy, the destabilizing nature of a lot of this man's worst impulses on the economy. And then you have Fox that is just literally a racist propaganda entertainment channel that just riles up the rubes. And it's amazing to me that this is a huge thing. I mean, the right-wingers lost their minds over Bill Clinton. They lost their minds. It made them question marriage. It made them question the president.
And I thought she was talking about the Epstein files. I was going to say, and I fucking understand that. I'll just tell you guys right now, I don't like what Bill Clinton did with Monica Lewinsky. I think that there are obviously times where it's not appropriate to have power over a person and use it to do the things that, but both of them were adults. It was consensual. I also don't agree with the person cheating on their significant other. Now, mind you, the Epstein files, if that's true, that is fucking a million times worse. It's a million times worse. But that's literally what she's saying, is that, like, they were so mad about Monica Lewinsky. Not that he cheated on his wife. They didn't really fucking care about that. Not that he had sex in the Oval Office. They don't care about that. They think that's fucking amazing. Not that he used his power to, manipulate a younger woman. They didn't care about that. They only cared that it was a Democrat. That's the only reason they cared. They're not against any of those things. They only cared because he was a Democrat.
Presidency. And you know what? Now, she was 18 years old, and Bill Clinton, that's really abhorrent. And that was worthy of chyrons on the news. That was worthy of being a leading story. Likewise, this is a massive scandal. This woman was a sex offender, is a sex offender, covered up for sex offenders, brutalized emotionally, physically, these poor minor girls. And she was tried and she was incarcerated for it. And she allegedly floated the information to the Wall Street Journal about the birthday book. It is largely believed that Ghislaine Maxwell sent a message to the Trump administration. I have this, so if you don't come talk to me, I'm going to escalate this. So Rupert Murdoch.
And aren't they, I think they're offering, the state is offering to turn over the book and many other articles as well.
Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene and others are seeing beyond Kanks's the rest of the short life that he has left to live.
I think Marjorie Taylor Greene is just doing it out of spite, to be honest with you. I think that the fact that Trump chose Laura Loomer over her is really the reason why Marjorie Taylor Greene is doing it. I think she's a spiteful human being. I think that's like right up her alley. As far as like Rupert Murdoch goes, I don't think he sees himself as living past Trump. I think that Rupert Murdoch is on death's door as well, and I think that most likely his family members are seeing beyond Trump. Thomas Massey, on the other hand, Thomas Massey's a libertarian. Libertarians have always been a little bit wild to me. I do have a good time laughing at a lot of libertarian stuff because they go all the way from being just your average everyday conservative Republican to we should be able to own nukes. So it really depends on where you fall on the libertarian sphere as whether or not I think you're completely fucking nuts or not. But Thomas Massey seems to be on that, in that area of a libertarian that generally drives me nuts in watching debates where it's like, I just think a lot of what they believe just is not possible. Just the same way they think like the socialism thing. So same thing.
We've seen the medical condition, the heart failure, the dementia, the cankles, the bruised hands. He's swollen up like a bubble tick. And so you see people starting to make arrangements post that. And so it's interesting that Rupert Murdoch allows for one media arm to have clarity and receive leaked information. And then the other one, he just completely sane washes this whole thing. And this is a major leading story.
It's clicks and views. It's clicks and views. It's destroying the fucking culture. It really is. The capitalistic nature of monetizing news was one of the worst things that we ever did. And it still is. And that's why today I've had such a fucking hard time.
That she went and lied to the DOJ and got moved to some cream puff prison.
Well, the corruption in itself of them saying, oh, I have the client list. Oh, we're going to release it. And then saying we don't have it. And then sending messages from the Trump administration. We will consider it a hostile act if you vote to release the Epstein files. That is corruption at the that makes Watergate look like nothing.
It's fucking insane.
And they're just acting like it's not happening.
But I mean, Fox News is the most complicit, and its viewers, their viewers are truly the worst America has to offer. I mean, people that sit in freebase Fox News, I mean, these people are racist, intellectually lazy. And I think these are the people, when they're polled, do you think that we should have a dictatorship? They probably say yes, because they've been primed to want it.
Yeah. And they're probably the exact same people that were rah, sis, boom, bah, released the files until they figured out Trump was in them.
Yep.
So
100%.
That's the update we have from this afternoon. Please like this video, subscribe.
Go like and subscribe to the IHIP ladies. I fucking love these ladies. They're my favorite. All right, guys. I wanted to say this before I go. This is a very emotional stream for me, but it should be. And I'm not going to apologize for that, because that's, if you're not worked up right now, you're not watching, you're not listening, man. And I'm going to just say it one more time. You don't have to love these other streamers. You don't have to agree with these other streamers. That's not what I'm asking you to do. What I'm asking you to do, and what I'm asking these other streamers to do, and content creators and democratic voices, is to stop making the situation on the left worse. That's it. I'm just saying that what we need right now is for viewers to be influencing content creators, viewers and voters to be influencing democratic leadership, to form a more solid base to defeat the current authoritarian government that we're dealing with. And then if you guys want to go back to fighting with each other and you want to be choking each other on the sidewalk outside for clicks and views, go for it. Fucking go for it. But I have 2 kids. I don't do this shit for money. I do this shit because I want you to have a better life. I do this shit because I want my kids to have a better life. And I could give 2 fucking shits about being rich or famous. So we all have to do our part. Okay? Thank you, guys. I'm off tomorrow because I need a fucking break. I'm tired, boss. I'm tired, boss. I'm fucking tired. So I'm taking tomorrow off to watch my Eagles play. The Eagles don't win, I'm really going to fucking have a bad week. And after somebody makes clips of this video, probably a left-wing content creator. Progressive fucking crashes out. Liberal crashes out. I don't know what people call me anymore. So many people have called me centrist. People have called me fucking ultra-progressive. People called me conservative. I don't even fucking know. Whatever the name of the video clip of me yelling is going to be, I'm sure it'll be fucking amazing. And everybody can fucking go on there and say, look at this guy getting mad. Because you should. I am mad. I'm fucking pissed. But tomorrow the Eagles better fucking win. That'll be the real video. The real video is when my Eagles lose, and they're like, fucking liberal cries over football team losing. Let's get some fucking files released, man. Let's get some justice for these fucking women, man. Let's just do it. Let's fucking get together. Let's be a team. Let's work together, and let's accomplish some fucking shit out there. Let's make it happen for these women. All right? All right, guys. Next show is Saturday at 5 p.m. I hope to see you guys then. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And I hope you have a good night.